You want to pay 1% state tax for cocaine?
Recording in progress.
Good evening, Pueblo, Colorado. It is July 6, 2026. The time is 5:30 p.m. and I call this general work session for Pueblo City Council to order. I would first like to begin with just a brief comment and an announcement. First, I just want to take a moment to say just how we understand in our community the devastation and these fires that have happened over the last week. And I just want to send my regards to all of those who are suffering loss, who are in the work of fighting this fire and have been working tirelessly to keep our communities safe and to get this under control. So I just want to thank all of our first responders who have been in this for about a solid week now, and I want to thank you, and on behalf of the council, from the bottom of our hearts, just a deep, deep, deep thank you for all that you have done to protect our communities. To those who have been affected by this fire, I just want to send a message to say that we are here with you, we support you, we are so sorry in the loss that you are experiencing, and we just want you to know we're here. This community of Pueblo has been amazing in supporting our neighbors, and I want to thank the community of Pueblo as well for all you have done to reach out and be good neighbors to the folks living in the surrounding counties who are affected by the fire. So just a huge thank you, and let's just keep being good neighbors to each other. Please do not do anything else to make this any worse. 4th of July was plenty not a good situation for following the fire bans, so just please be mindful of that. The fire departments really do not have any capacity to come to put out anything in the city that's happening, and so just please, let's be good neighbors to each other and be respectful of our first responders and keep hanging in there tight as a community in Pueblo. Like we know we can keep showing up and showing out for each other. I just want to give one announcement about the parking outside of City Hall. We've been having an issue with, we've just been having some challenges with the parking, and this parking that's outside the door, that's the closest on the other side of Angelo's Pizza, those parkings are reserved for council. For several reasons, and one is it's mainly for safety. Sometimes we're here very late, and it's important that that we all get out there and get to our cars all together, and we're watched and watched with safety. So please avoid parking in those areas, even if you're not here coming to the meeting. If you're out at Angelo's or somewhere out in the Riverwalk doing some fun stuff, please avoid parking in those spaces on Mondays when we're here having council business. Okay. Moving along with the council's agenda, I'd like to welcome Brian McCain, Chief of Staff for City Updates.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to defer my time to Mayor Graham to give an update on the fire.
Okay, so Mayor Graham, please.
Thank you, Chair. As of today, I'm sure you're all aware as you receive the updates as we do, we're looking at about 92,000 acres since last Monday at 9:30 in the morning. The state came in and assumed the fire, so they were in charge of the fire for several days before the federal government came in later on in the week, and now they are performing incident command. So the city's role and responsibility when it comes to that is supporting the EOC and supporting the EOC through the incident. And so Councilman Hernandez came by to see the EOC up and running and what that was like. And so it's been very challenging for our first responders, our fire department, our police officers who have had to maintain road closures for Custer County, Pueblo County, City of Pueblo, all the way up through Red Creek Springs Road. So our law enforcement has been stretched significantly thin. The National Guard is here now, which has allowed our police officers to be relieved, but they were working several hours a day to make sure that property was protected and people were kept safe and to where they can and can't go. Other aspects of the city and how we've been contributing is through our Public Works Department with Andrew Hayes and our Director of Public Affairs with Haley Sue Robinson, helping to run the Joint Information Center through the county. So all of you are welcome at any time to come to the EOC, get information, get updates. Every day the city is briefed by the health department, and so you'll see sometimes I'm closing the pools or calling for the programs to be closed that the city is running due to the air advisory. So that decision is very well taken and thought through, dependent on what PDPHE gives in their brief. Every morning, as you know, there is a disaster center that is opened where Pitts Middle School was. They had to close a little bit early today, but it will open again tomorrow. And the hours from tomorrow until July 14th are going to be from 11 to 6 o'clock, where individuals can go for resources. All of this information is readily available at puebloemergency.info. There is a town hall tonight at 7 p.m. at Centennial High School where the Alaskan team is going to come and talk to the community. So the chief and I are going to head over there in just a little bit. But, you know, as the mayor, I'm incredibly proud of all of the first responders, the community who has come together to offer resources of all kinds and sorts. We have contractors, some contractors sitting in this room tonight who have come and dug fire lines out past the city to protect the city if the fire moves forward. So this has been a true testament of what the Pueblo community can do when they come together. And at the city, we're just very thankful for what everybody has been able to do. Thankful for our staff and our city employees, and we hope everybody stays safe out there.
Thank you, Mayor Graham. All right. Up next on our council agenda, I'd like to welcome up Megan Cover, Director of Growth Sustainability with Pueblo Food Project and Action Plan. Thank you for joining us, Megan, and we will recognize your presentation for 10 minutes once you're up and ready to get unloaded. You good?
We're ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All
Please
right.
proceed.
Good evening, Council and Mayor Graham. Some of you are familiar with the Pueblo Food Project, but not all of you are, so I'm excited to share more with those who aren't familiar. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Megan Cover. I'm the Director of Growth Sustainability and Operations at Pueblo Food Project, essentially our Executive Director. I've been with PFP for 6 years, and I'm a fifth-generation Puebloan, so I'm a very proud Puebloan talking about what I do. Pueblo Food Project's mission and vision is to create a more vibrant, nutritious, and equitable food system for every eater in Pueblo County. We do that through our coalition. PFP was founded in 2019 as a grassroots effort of many coalition members and passionate individuals and organizations to create a better food system for everybody. So Pueblo Food Project is quite new. In September, we'll be 7 years old, and our board is only about 3 years old. So we're still doing a lot of growing at this point, and still learning a lot about what it means to be a well-functioning, strong, and sustainable nonprofit. And PFP works across many aspects of our food system. Our general vision and hope is that one day all people of Pueblo will have access to nourishing food, can use their power to make choices about their food, can connect to their community, their culture, and the land and each other through food. I want to emphasize that everybody eats. No one has a choice to opt out of our food system. So we need to think of it as not only yours, but ours. We all participate in creating and making and building a wonderful food system. A food system can mean many, many, many things. So to you, that might mean lots of incredible, beautiful restaurants. That might mean everybody has access to nourishing food. That might mean that our cultural heritage is preserved through food, which we all know Pueblo has lots of food history. And we'll take a look at the current landscape of what it's like in the food system right now. I don't think it's a secret for anyone that many people in Pueblo struggle with food access. We have many on SNAP and WIC, many people living in poverty, and many visits to food pantries across the county. And most residents, 80% or more, have to travel well over 2 miles to get to the nearest source of food. So that could be any grocery store. But we do have one really positive thing about all of this, which is that Pueblo really utilizes its benefits. So we have the highest rate in the state of redemption. So that means those dollars, the SNAP and WIC dollars that are coming to our county, are being utilized. Those tax dollars are being used to buy people food. Moving on to more of the business side, we have 758 family farms, which might have gone down a little bit by now. Lots of farms have sold recently, but we have lots of vegetable production, lots of livestock production, over 100 locally owned restaurants, over 60 food production producers. And if you didn't know, 60% of every dollar you spend locally stays and circulates in the community, significantly more. And then one thing that makes Pueblo in particular really special is the food tradition that we have. I don't think any of you that's a secret. You all know, you all have a relationship to something that's special to you. We have long-standing 100-year traditions in Pueblo, and that is something that is so special and so wonderful. So whatever you're thinking in your head is your thing. That's something that's beautiful to share and what makes our community so incredible. And we're proud as PFP to take pride in our food. So Pueblo Food Project does a lot of things. And we have many avenues of programming that cross different sectors of the food system. First, we have our community food pantry. To date, PFP has spent over $1.2 million in the local economy within Pueblo County on food to supply the food pantry. So that's local food going to local people who need it the most. So we do a distribution model more like a food bank. We have food, we give it to other pantries. We do not do a direct to client. We have a community garden sustainability project, which we've started over 18 gardens since 2020, given thousands and thousands of pounds of produce from those gardens, and had dozens of growing classes, which have spanned from learning how to grow garlic to how to start your garden. We have food skills education courses, which come in many shapes and sizes. So that could be family-focused classes or young people or older people. So right now in particular, we have a grant from the Denver Foundation that focuses on belonging. So we're doing classes with seniors and young people coming together to learn how to cook together and create these great relationships between those communities. We also have our entrepreneur development program. This is a 16-week course that food businesses take. We have graduated 40 businesses since 2020, 2021 was the first year that we had the program. And that's been a really incredible program. We've been able to bring back so many of our entrepreneurs to cater, to join us for other events. They go to the farmers market and have great booths. And in fact, we've kind of seen a full circular economy through that program. During the government shutdown, PFP was awarded some funds to support our community We were going around town buying as much as we could. We walked into Zolman's Bakery to buy out the bread for the day, and we're surprised to find that one of our entrepreneurs who went through the program bought Zolman's and was the owner. So we helped them through the program, and then they got to help us feed the community, which was really incredible. We also have Sun Soil Water Summit, which is an incredible weekend-long event. We do our primary fundraising event called Made in Pueblo that weekend. So it's like what would be our gala. We bring in a bunch of entrepreneurs who give little samples and bites, and we award some leadership awards to amazing food leaders in Pueblo. The next day we have a full day conference all about food, and anybody can come. We have lots of user-friendly, any age, any type of education, and also more technical education there. And we have a farmer's market after that to close out the day, and other family community-focused events after that. Just wanted to quickly highlight some of our best partnerships. We're very close with the farmer's market, CSU Extension Pueblo County, and a few others, but those are our two biggest. And then last but not least, PFP has a community coalition. So this is made up of many different community members, organizations, elected officials if they so choose, and really anyone who's interested in the work of PFP. And in the last year, the coalition has really been working on creating the Pueblo Food Action Plan. Each of you got one to look at. It's in front of you. That's our final printed version of the Pueblo Food Action Plan. This is a collaborative roadmap to guide the efforts of organizations and community leaders working to create a more resilient and equitable food system in Pueblo. It's intended to shape public policy, inspire program development, and strengthen and establish partnerships. And we created it through a lot of community engagement. So we did neighborhood-focused listening sessions, we did partner interviews, and then once we put all that data together, we went back to the coalition every month to get feedback until it came to its final form. The coalition did ask us to do this in-house, so we did not hire an outside organization or contractor to help make this. We made it on our own. So if there's any mistakes in there, just please forgive us. And we would like to see this be used in many different ways, but in particular, we want it to be an opportunity for any organization that wants to focus on food to be able to say like they can do it, because there's so many strategies within this action plan that lead us in a new direction. There are 6 goals. I won't read them out to you. 4 of them are outward facing towards the community, and then 2 of them are internal for Pueblo Food Project. All of these goals encompass 3 focus areas: healthful food access, food skills education, and thriving local economy. So those are our 3 pillars and focus areas. And each focus area will have a corresponding action team of coalition members working on them. So right now, healthful food access is working on planting some orchards at fire stations, has established 2 new library gardens, and we established 1 new edible landscape this summer, and one of our awesome coalition members just created an online Pueblo food map, which will have all of the pantries, all of our local restaurants, all of our farm stands, and hopefully a lot more that will be available, we hope, soon. In food skills education, we're working on filling the Cooking Matters gap. I don't know how many of you are familiar, but Cooking Matters was defunded this year, and we're trying to find ways to integrate what we do more regularly. We're also working on a partnership with Gen Wild. And then finally, the Food Economies Group is working on creating a better system between the local food hub and restaurants, that more local food can get into restaurants. And then I just want to say we're all about community here. We love what we do. And I got to stop talking. So be a part of your food system. Be a part of us. We'd love to see you join us or any other government officials. Sorry, I'll take questions. I'll be quiet.
Megan, do you need a minute or 2 to wrap up? Or
I'm sorry, what?
do you need a minute or 2?
Oh, no.
You're good? Okay.
That was like, I just had like 20 more seconds.
Okay.
So we're good.
All right. I will now open up time for questions from council. Does anybody have any questions? See, Councilor Dante? Please.
Hi.
Councilor
Maybe
Dante.
one question.
That was a very good presentation, thank you. I do have one question. How do you get the people that go to the food pantry and are low income, and so they're not buying really healthy foods. How do you get them involved in this program?
So we have several ways that we try and reach that demographic. Typically, we've focused on families, so we'll reach out to schools or other programs like maybe the Boys and Girls Club to reach families in particular to join us for classes to learn more about healthy eating, things like that. So we typically target our marketing and our recruitment for classes on like programs that we know are working with families and people who might need the most help.
Thank you. Counselor Latino?
Are you working with the Care and Share program as well?
We do partner with Care and Share, but our pantry is kind of separate than that. So we're partnered with them, but we haven't done a ton of work at
So
this
you're,
point.
you're partners with them is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
So you work in a collaborative manner to try to do the same things, basically? Because the Care and Share program was started in this city. It was the first program to be started in this
Yeah.
particular community.
The point of our food pantry is not only to feed people, but also to support the local food economy. So we only spend our dollars in Pueblo County and then give that food out. So it kind of has a twofold approach, and we're just supplemental compared to the amount of work that Care and Share does. So we just help provide some other necessities. So we focus on buying specifically like beef, cheese, tortillas, green chili, beans, really staple items that might get missed by other charitable food giving.
But again, are you working in a collaborative manner with them? Because basically they're doing the same thing.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that program was started here by a nun named Sister Dominique Pichata. And the program actually started in Phoenix, Arizona with the St. Mary's Food Bank. And now it's all over Colorado. So I just want to make sure that we're working as a team. Because you're going to get a lot further if you work as a team than you do on an individual basis. Thank you.
President Nealiff?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to congratulate you guys. You know, I was here when this started, when Senator Bennett and the Whole Foods guy came to town, and they set this up, and it was run within the city. And, you know, being the pessimist, I guess, that I was at the time, I thought, well, you know, this is just going to be another program that we're going to subsidize and subsidize and subsidize, and it's never going to go away, and it's just going to be a drain on dollars within the city, right? And it has been absolutely a rousing success. I mean, you're no longer associated with the city. You're on your own. Your organization is doing fantastic work within the community, and it's really working. And I mean, you guys should give yourselves a pat on the back for that, because it's a tremendous effort that goes into this, and you guys do really good work, and I really appreciate what you do for our community.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Counselor Gomez?
You guys do your own grant work?
Yes, in-house.
Very good. Do you have a mobile operation at all?
Well, how do you mean?
Do you take things from outside your agency out to?
Oh, yeah, like our cooking program, we could do one right in here if you wanted to. We can do it anywhere.
Okay, so you have a program for that?
Yeah.
What about the other thing is, I'm always looking for model programs in reference to self-sufficiency and self-sustainability, and you guys seem to have a model for that, but with all
We're
the grant.
working on it.
What's that?
We're working on it.
There's room for improvement, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you guys are doing a good job, and I wish I could tell you honestly, I have a lot more understanding of the program than I have, but I'll learn a lot more, so forgive me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Send me an email anytime.
Counselor Hernandez?
Hi, Megan. Listen, you have 6 goals listed in your plan. Can you just tell me what your main goal is?
Well, our main goal is to create a more sustainable food system, and that can happen in a lot of ways, but our main goal is to get the community involved in what we do so that we are all participating in the food system in a better way. Pueblo has such an incredible food heritage that we can really utilize what we have to create incredible growth, jobs, education. Like, there's so much that's out there. Our primary goal is to make a better food system for everyone.
can you give an example of somebody coming asking you for help, not just for food, but for cooking? Can you give us an example of what that looks like for that person?
Yeah, so we would send them over to our chef. So on staff, we have a chef. She is currently running a class funded by Belonging Colorado, and it's for youth and seniors. But right now, in particular, with cooking classes, while we're trying to kind of fill, and it's a little bit complicated, we're trying to fill the gap that was left by Cooking Matters. So previously, Lindy was the chef for Cooking Matters. She could get a call from anyone and go do a cooking class because that's what the funding was for. We don't have that same kind of funding to say, oh, we can do anything. So right now, we're trying to build a model where we do have and I need to find better words for it at some point. We're still working on it, like a fancier class, like a sourdough class that would cost like $75 a ticket. People would learn this really cool thing, and then we'd be able to use that money to do a class that was on anything. So if, let's say the Boys and Girls Club is here, let's say Becky calls us and she's like, these kids are really interested in learning how to make tortillas. We would be able to say, yes, we'll go do that. So we're still working on what that model of sustainability would be. Actually, we're in the middle of hosting like our first paid classes right now, so that we can support those. So it's a work in progress. If people do fit like the need of the classes that we are already having, like a youth or senior, they're welcome to come to that class and join us. But right now we just don't have the capacity to say yes to anything because it costs money, even though we would like to. So we're working on it.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay.
Nice job.
Oh, sorry. Councilor Boston, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, you talked about the food system, and thanks for all the great work you do in the food heritage. You know, I saw some things on there, Pueblo Chile. I know that's one of the biggest things Pueblo's known for. Shout out Musso Farms. That's who I utilize chili for. Dutch lunch. I know that's a super popular thing. Shout out Gus's. Italian sausage and eggs. That's one of the most popular things on my menu in my restaurant myself. So, I know we have a very vast food heritage system here in Pueblo. But you mentioned sourdough classes. I think I might have a contact that might be interested in doing some sort of classes. She's very talented. I know she does work with the rescue mission. She donates a lot of stuff there, and she's probably the best sourdough chef that I know in town. If you ever want any free cookie classes, I'm pretty
Yes,
good at making
please.
macarons and snickerdoodles. I will
Yes.
gladly teach a class of kids
That would be
or
awesome.
anybody
Yeah,
how to make cookies.
anybody who's interested, let's bring you in.
I won't charge.
Let's have fun. That's what we're here for.
If you want me to make
Not all
some
the time.
cookies, I'll show them how to make cookies. So just let me know.
Yeah,
But keep up the
absolutely.
good
That's
work.
awesome. Yeah.
What's your nickname there, mister?
I had a couple nicknames. I go by Bready Cocker or Bite Back Bakery.
That's good. Councilor Dante. Well, we have time for one more question. Go ahead.
So I have a garden, and I always have more than what I can use. So do you take donations from people that have gardens?
Yes, so actually at the farmer's market, we have a table called the Backyard Growers Alliance, and people who have an overabundance of produce in their backyard can bring it to the farmer's market, and it will be given out for free there.
And where's this farmer's market?
The farmer's market is every Saturday from 7:30 to 12 at Mineral Palace Park. There's 1 week a month that they go to the east side, though, and it's at PCHC. So you might want to check the calendar, but I know it's at Mineral Palace this weekend.
And you said 7 to,
7:30 to 12.
okay,
7:30 a.m. to 12 p.m.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Megan, and thank you for all the work that you all do for our community, and we're excited to see how you all keep moving forward in success and serving our community. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Take care. All right. All right. All right. Moving forward with council's agenda, I'd like to invite up Melissa Cook. Where'd she go? There she is. Councilors, as before we begin the presentation for Boys and Girls Club, Melissa just wanted to give us a really quick little piece of info to help us support the presentation's context. So please,
Yes.
Ms. Cook. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Ruiz Gomez. So just a little bit of background for those that may not know this. In 2025, when we were doing the passage of the 2026 budget, Councilor Martinez at the time had made an amendment to include a non-departmental request for the Boys and Girls Club for fifth day programming. Initial conversations, prior to that amendment, there were conversations internally that were happening. We knew she was going to be making this amendment, was that this would be a 3-year contract for the non-departmental, and it would go $50,000 for 3 years. Obviously, we can't budget and appropriate into the future, and we looked at that internally and determined and let all of the parties know that it would be outside of our normal operating procedures to offer a 3-year non-departmental contract, that those are really reserved for those organizations that provide a service that the city would otherwise have to provide, like HSPPR or the zoo. And so as a result of that, a 1-year contract was offered. Right now, we are starting the 2027 budgets, and we really wanted to bring Boys and Girls Club here to present to you tonight. And what we're hoping to get is some sort of feedback to determine if council wants this in the budget that is presented to you this November or not. That's really the goal of tonight, and also just to highlight the work that they're doing. So that concludes my report, and I think now we can call up Boys and Girls Club.
All right. I'd like to welcome up Becky Medina. She is the new president and CEO of Boys and Girls Club, and Kendra Turner, who is the vice president of Resource Development. Ladies, we'll recognize your presentation for 15 minutes once we've got it loaded and ready to go.
All right. Thank you, Chairperson Ruiz Gomez. Thank you to our counselors and Mayor Graham for having us to provide an update on our progress with our partnership with the city. We really appreciate this investment and the opportunity to share how we've performed and produced outcomes for families, and we'll be able to share some updates with family. As our chairperson Ruiz Gomez indicated, this is Kendra Turner, our VP of Resource Development. I'd also like to recognize that we have our dedicated board members in the audience, as well as some staff, and thank you to all of our engaged community members as well. So as part of this current agreement, the city did contract for 25 year-round service spaces, particularly focused on the 5th day programming that we provide on Fridays. This is all-day programming. We are also open all day throughout the summer, so we are in full swing, so to speak. And this is at our East Side Clubhouse, the Sprague Clubhouse on the south side, and our Regular Teen Center. Our Sprague and East Side clubhouses are our largest clubhouses, and the Regular Teen Center specifically focuses on high school engagement. We've all been, saddened and impacted by the wildfires affecting our region. And at Boys and Girls Club, I really think about how important consistent services are. Consistent services like Boys and Girls Club, being available to families who are impacted in times of danger or travesty, and that's just what this service provides. So the partnership with Boys and Girls Club really invests in our youth-serving organization to provide this service. This contract ensures that youth have access to safe supervision after school on Fridays and during the summer. It's not just occasional programming. We are open and consistent Monday through Friday. And this supported services, it's safe out of school time supervision, academic attendance or assistance, of real focus on teen programming and workforce readiness, violence prevention, summer learning, and family engagement. Really aligning with the city's priorities around public safety, youth development, and economic opportunity. And most importantly, like a contract for services, we have the infrastructure to be able to provide these essential services for out-of-school time care for young people between the ages of 6 and 18. And what we do know that there is a strong demand from working families, single-parent households for reliable out-of-school time care. It's one of the most significant needs that we hear from our parents. They need affordable, reliable care. Youth need positive adults, structured activities, and safe places during the hours when other risky behaviors might be occurring. This really is an investment in those upstream approaches in providing safe, security, and positive activities for young people. And we also know that some of the prime barriers to access continue to be cost and transportation. So the club is in these neighborhoods where it's directly accessible to families. We have the transportation infrastructure, and this really helps prioritize youth and families as investing in the infrastructure of our community, teens and families. So while, this, and we'll share our numbers, and that's also important, but we'd like you to hear from some of our most important people, which are our families, and I'd love to introduce Mary Beth and Hunter to say a few words about the impact that Boys and Girls Club has had on them.
Sorry, I was laughing at his pictures. I haven't seen those. I saw the one, but not the others. Sorry. Hi, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. So I actually am a longtime Boys and Girls Club mom. I actually have older children who are 29 and 26 who went to the club a long time ago. When Hunter was old enough, once 6 years old hit, we put him in because I knew how supportive the club was. I knew that I could go to any director and go, this is the problem I'm having today. They walk me through it. I have a bad day at work. They're like, okay, let's talk through it. They're almost like my mini counselors. I feel that the club has helped Hunter. Hunter has ADD, so he's a little happy a lot. And with all the activities that they offer, it's able to kind of calm him down. By the time I pick him up at 7 o'clock at night, we can do okay, it's almost time for bed. We can actually get ready for bed. And it has been a godsend because as a working parent, we're a two-parent household, I could not afford daycare. He actually goes to Freed, and that's always been one of my main complaints lately is a long time ago, they used to offer transportation around the city of Pueblo, and now because they don't have that busing anymore, we actually, every day I ask him, are we going to the club today or are we going home? And he's like, we're going to the club, so I drive him to the club and then pick him up afterwards. So anybody willing to help with transportation out there, do it. Please, pretty please, especially from Freed to the east side, please. But yeah, no, the club is one of the things where you can watch my Facebook page. If they ever post anything, I'm always posting it again, because if there's anybody ever on Helping Pueblo that goes, hey, I have this child that's this age, I'm like, did you check the club? Did you register for the club? Did you see what's open in your area? I'm a big, huge supporter of how they've gotten my older kids to where they are now. Both of my children graduated high school. The older ones did. One went to college and got her MA. She's got a really good job in town. My other son took a little while, but none of them went to jail. None of them got, neither one has ever been arrested, So we really lucked out with the family support that we had at the club. Tell them what all you do.
At the Boys and Girls Club, I'm a very big sports person. I play sports a lot, so when every year that I got a chance to play in the flag football league, I played there. I've helped with hockey. I've played hockey. I've done a lot of sports. Mm-hmm. I help staff a lot. I'm a very helper. I like helping because it's part of my perspective of helping.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
That's his personality.
Yeah, my personality.
My older kids always joke and say, Mom, when we were younger, you used to volunteer us. I don't volunteer him, he volunteers me. He's like,
Yep.
Mom, I offered for us to help with blah, and I'm like, can I check the calendar first, please? So, yeah. Anything else you want,
Yeah,
what about school stuff?
Yeah,
What do they help you with
At
school?
school, I do a bunch of stuff. So, like, after school program, I go to the
What's that one you're doing now? The violence one, or is that the?
21st program. I do that every day. There's a certain hour that we do math, reading, ELA. We do that. We get a lot of learning time. We get at least an hour of each. So that's the part I like. Not just during school year we learn, it's during the summer as well.
Anything else that you can remember? What about the clubs? What clubs do you do?
What do you mean? What
Did you
clubs
do
I go to?
D&D club?
Yeah, I do Dungeons and Dragons. I do Pokemon. I do the main one I do. Yeah, I help Yenny a lot. I am a very good friend maker. I'm well known at the Boys and Girls Club. So if I'm out in public and I see someone that I don't even know, that I don't recognize, they recognize me because I'm a very person that likes to get out there and speak a lot.
He's talking about Miss Yenny. I believe she runs the outdoor
She's
activities.
the outdoor athletic
So
thing.
he's gone ice fishing, he's gone skiing. They were trying to run a program where the kids could go ride horses.
Horseback riding
So
every Monday.
that's all experiences that as an inner city kid, I would never take him skiing. I'm from New York and I hate the snow. I don't do snow. He knows
love
that,
snow.
so. Is that it?
No, not really, but thank you.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
So I think they did an excellent job in reflecting that, this investment really, it provides that safe space, but so much more with the partnerships that we're able to secure at Boys and Girls Club.
All right, so these data points reflect January through the end of May at the 3 sites that the contract covers. We don't have June statistics yet for you. I apologize. So we'll be ready by the 15th of the month. So 722 youth served. 265 of those are teens, which is a really great teen number. It's hitting our targets. That's almost 180 kids a day. So just to be clear, the contract, the way that works is 25 slots for the day, right? A child like Hunter, who's there every day, is eating up that slot consistently. But we do have families that maybe only use this during summer or only use this during the school year, and so that slot may be occupied by more than one child. Members participated in 17 plus hours of academic programming. So like he said, we do run homework help every single day. In the summer, there's real concentration on literacy and math help, just to make sure we're not losing ground during the summer. Members completed almost 2,800 hours of community service, and we served 12,500 meals and over 9,000 snacks. By the way, shout out to Megan for partnering with us and vocalizing that partnership. We're really lucky to have partnerships with the school districts and outside programs like Pueblo Food Project that help ensure that kids, if you go to the East Side Clubhouse on a Friday at lunch, it is bursting at the seams. Food security is one of those things that gets teenagers out of bed to the club to participate in positive programs. Families are struggling right now. If you've shopped for groceries lately, you know. So moving on from those outcomes, as Becky said, we really do, the Boys and Girls Club's model nationwide aligns very well with the responsibilities outlined in the charter, the city's charter, to promote the health and well-being of its residents. And our programs do deliver a lot of measurables. That's one thing that you'll get from us that you may not be able to get from a lot of nonprofits in town, is a lot of data, even on specific children and their academic growth for the year. So always feel free to ask us for anything like that. We are a very data-driven organization. We want to make sure that we're using any public funds and private funds, quite frankly. My department oversees all investment into the organization, that we're using your money and leveraging that to ensure the greatest possible outcome. All right. So we do employ 75 part-time and full-time employees. We have a 2.3 million annual payroll, and we do bring in $2.5 million of our budget from outside Pueblo County. This 32.5 million economic impact number, I do want to just point out, that takes into account, like Becky said, upstream preventative, programs. So money that's saved in juvenile detention or crime or backtracking academically. Okay, so that takes into account all of that. I only have 1 minute left, so I don't want to get slowed up too much. So in 2027, we're really excited. We have a lot of exciting initiatives happening statewide, including all the clubs across Colorado are going through a real mental health intensive training that will be a multi-year initiative funded by a specific funder. We're doing a lot in terms of teens and workforce development. We're looking at some gun violence prevention money right now and putting together a solid plan. We have a serious increase in that, always seems like every year, among teens in gun violence. We have a new family navigator position opening up that's going to be great for middle school families. And then we're moving into the Bessemer Community Hub, and we are looking at an MOU to be the anchor agency in that facility and really looking forward to serving the community in a whole new way. So yeah, the funding, this is the funding request, just a renewal as Melissa stated, for the same 3 sites. And we are absolutely open to questions.
Thank you. I'll now open up time for questions from the council. I'll begin with Councilor Boston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you for that report and congratulations.
Thank
big
you.
shoes to fill. You guys are a great
Yeah.
organization. Nobody's going to discount that. You guys do a lot of great things. I'd just like to comment on a couple of things that your members came and spoke about. I know you said rides were an issue. I believe Commissioner Lucero came to us not that long ago presenting a program to help youth with rides to different locations and events and things like that. I believe Mr. Farrell in the crowd was part of that as well. Maybe you guys can reach out to him for
The ride
how
share,
that,
yeah.
how that'll work and some of those rides assistance that you could need. Was Boys and Girls Club part of any CSAC funding or other funding from any government entities this last year?
We did receive CSAC, we received funds from the county as well.
Do you know what your total funding from the county, the city, and partners were?
Yep. County commissioners is 75,000 and our CSAC allocation is 80,000?
This year, it is.
And then how much from the city in 2026?
50.
50 from
So
the
that
city,
contract
yes.
was awarded
Thank you.
before the CSAC award, correct?
Okay. So about $200,000. So obviously the work you guys do is great. It's a huge impact. We want to do everything we can for our youth. What kind of other sources of funding are you trying to reach out to help kind of bridge these gaps? Granted, the city, the county were in pretty big budget deficits. If these weren't able to come through, what kind of opportunities are you looking to get if these were not to come through?
Correct. So from a $50,000 shortfall perspective, I would say private foundations are really stepping up to help fill gaps. We've already received reductions from the state that took effect July 1 from their state budget shortfall. Federal funding is remaining pretty stable right now, although it's kind of day to day sometimes. Different departments have delays or announce, the RFP might not be coming out until the following year, but so far that is all intact. We are focused right now, we have a funder who is funding specifically growing individual giving within our local community. We tend to be very attractive to outside donors outside of this community. We have all the demographics that people want to support to make sure that we have an equal playing field with the rest of the state. So that money is very stable. We have really great funder relations in that regard. But we do understand the state and local government funding shortfall, and we completely understand that. Our CSAC allocation has been, it's a little more than half right now of what it was 10 years ago. So that's been pretty consistently decreasing. But we're not leaving any rock unturned. The need only grows. 10 years ago, our budget was 1 million, it's 5 million today, so.
And I would just add that that's a great question, that, these funds really help us leverage more funds to bring into the community to expand our reach.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of funds out there, if you match, there's opportunity to
Absolutely.
get more. So similar to what Pueblo Food Project was presenting earlier, if there's things that could cut costs that you could be provided for, free, for instance, whether it was a cooking class, what are some things that Boys and Girls Club could utilize that would cut costs that community members could, in a sense, donate to help reduce those costs so that you can put money in other places if you don't get this funding?
Sure, I'll start, and if Kendra wants to add anything. Certainly, any basic supplies that you would think any after-school program would use, markers, crayons, pens, pencils, the back-to-school will be here before you know it. We have, in the past, committed funds to ensure that young people that we serve have what they need to start the school year off right. So if anyone is so inclined, that certainly is something. And, just have a conversation with myself, with Kendra, and how, they might be able to invest, whether that's giving time, talent, or resources to our services at Boys and Girls Club.
Well, if you figure out anything,
A mechanic.
a
No.
list.
Yeah,
We do have a fleet of 14 vehicles that is, it's expensive to keep those kinds of things running. So we're always open to new programs. If you want to cook with our kids, we have, like you said, Pokemon professors. We have D&D.
Yeah, who's the DM? Is it
The
Mr. Farrell,
DM
or-
is actually married to one of our board
Yeah.
members, Brian Musgrave, is the DM.
Sweet.
And we have been leveraging, and if there are other partnerships that are bringing in the programs and services, Pueblo Food Project talked about the intergenerational cooking program, and I'm proud to say that our teens from Ray Aguilera Clubhouse are participating in that program at the Senior Resource Development Agency.
Well, if you want a cookie class, I'll offer one
We
to you as
will,
well.
we're gonna
If you provide,
reach out.
if you provide physical supplies, I'll provide ingredients and time for free.
Great.
Thank you. Our parent just mentioned snacks. So
We actually, I'll go to the store and if King Supers has the snacks on sale, I'll pick up a whole bunch of boxes and just drop them off at the club and be like,
Well, if you guys can create a list of any way for
will.
the community to help out, I think it's been shown that this community is more than willing to help.
absolutely.
Absolutely, thank you.
Councilor Latino?
Yes. I would like the young man I'd like to address something to the young man. First of all, yes, I'm proud of you. I am really proud of you. You've spoken in a very professional manner. You love what you're doing, and young people mean the world to me. And it has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with young people. And what you had to say meant a lot to me. And you're an East Side boy, basically, right? And you're over at Risley, okay? And there's a lot of history at Risley, a lot of great history at Risley. And so, with you saying what you had to say, and I'm very proud of you because you said it in a very, I don't want to use the word eloquent, but you said it in a very concise manner, in a good way. You spoke in a very professional way, and I'm very proud of you, okay? I want to commend you for that. And because of you, I will support the Boys and Girls Club, because of you.
President Eliff?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you guys again for showing up. I mean, I supported this for 2026, obviously, when it went through our budget process. There's no reason I wouldn't support it again in 2027 at this point. But obviously, we got to get, we're not going to see numbers until September, October, before we actually know where we're sitting. What's so unfortunate, and we used to talk about this, is, I've said this to a few people, is that we live in a society now where doggy daycare is much more accessible than child daycare and help. And, that's a shame. And anything that we can do to get kids into programs and positive environments like what you guys are doing is it has to be a priority of ours. And, you know, I always tell the story about the Southside Sprague Clubhouse. That was my home away from home when I was a kid. And I don't know if it had anything to do with how I grew up, but I know that it didn't hurt me. And I know that it was a positive place and good things happened there. And I learned a lot of good lessons within that organization. So I'm very supportive of it. I think if the city's looking for some kind of direction from the city council, I would be supportive of it at this point. We just need to see where we're at. I would say that cautiously, I guess, but, you know, everything being equal, I'm behind it 110%. I appreciate what you do for our community.
Thanks.
Councilor Gomez?
Yeah, I'm gonna one-up Councilman Betty Crocker over there. And let you know that I used to have a company called Murals Unlimited. When I first came to Pueblo a long time ago, I did a lot of free mural work for St. Mary Corwin in their newborn area there. I did a lot of free work with the state hospital. But what I found out, and that when I was doing it, I was actually teaching at the same time. It was almost when I was creating these murals that they get to choose and the ownership that they took into it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
If you do a mural, say a 20 by 40 or a 15 by 30, you need a wall, you need a brush. I got the brushes, get some paint. But when you get kids coming in there and they want to paint, and you section out this is number 4, and it corresponds to this color, you leave them alone and let them paint. You don't worry about the edges. I come in, I can fix the edges up, and we can make it look really clean. But I'm going to offer that to you guys. My number is 719. You may want to take this down. 750-7424. And when they get their hands on a brush and they look at something they come back and see 10 years later, trust me, it'll always stay with them. So I'm going to make that offer to you. And again, it's 719-750-7424.
I think that sounds
Thank
great
you.
for Bessemer.
That's a wonderful, yeah, I've got some ideas.
Councilor Hernandez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
tonight.
Thank you.
I can't cook. I can't paint. I have other skills, though. So one of those is the fact that about 50 years ago, I was a Sprague kid and spent my probably 4 summers there. I lived out in the county, but my aunt lived in the projects there right next door. So we my cousins, all of us, we spent our days and some evenings at the club. And I can tell you what it does for a young person. Investing in our kids is an investment in our future. So I can tell you that if you're there, you're not on the streets. And if you're there and you're doing something positive, you're not on the streets doing something negative. So like President Aliff, I don't know what the numbers hold, but I can tell you with 100% certainty, there's no way in the world I'm ever going to say no to a kid. So I'll find a skill that I can help you all with. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Dante?
Hello. So I was kind of wondering, if you didn't get the 50,000 from the city non-departmental, what kind of effect would that have on your program?
So that represents almost 3 part-time individuals. We're always going to try, right, to meet that shortfall so that that does not impact staffing and that doesn't impact capacity at the clubhouse. But ultimately, at the end of the year, the numbers are what the numbers are, and that's what we staff for, and that's the capacity we have. So the implication, every $2,000, we're cutting kids from the program. It just is the math of the situation.
Okay. I guess I understand that you will be struggling, but you got to realize also that the city is struggling.
Correct.
You know, and is there any other way that you could cut costs, such as getting college students that are getting degrees in being a teacher or in childcare, are there
We
any
do
ways
have
you do have?
social work interns, correct.
And those are wonderful opportunities, and we certainly would want to leverage more of that. In our current model, those adults do not count towards our ratio. They are supported, or they're supportive to our young people, but we count the paid professionals as part of our ratio.
And can you explain what the ratio?
So our ratio, thank you, is 1 adult staff person to 15 young people.
And so the college students wouldn't count toward that ratio.
Not unless they were a paid Boys and Girls Club employee.
So they have to be paid.
To be part of our ratio. They can volunteer, they can have an internship, but so often in our experience with internships, they stay until their internship has concluded. And so it's very difficult for us to maintain that consistency in our programming without our paid youth development professionals.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, ladies. And I would say, like, I am, as long as we have the funding and we can push this through in our budget, I am supportive. I heard of a statistic out there the other day, and I'm trying to verify, but we are losing 1 youth a month to suicide. And what is going on there, and how can we, where are we missing the gap? And I think that this is a price tag, it's not affordable, and we can't do this to our youth, and so I think that that is great. I will tell you that I can connect to a slew of mental health folks who would love to come and do
We would love
some
that.
fun mental health game type play therapy group. So let's talk about what that could look like. So I want to thank you all for coming. It looks like we'll see closer in a fall. If we want any other, we'll maybe invite you back and see where we're at with moving forward with just including this in our budget for fall.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
folks.
Council.
All right. All right. All right, moving forward with council's agenda, would like to invite up Teresa Burns, Director of Purchasing. Teresa is going to present for us on the RFQ data, Economic Development Partner. Teresa, once your presentation's loaded, you're recognized for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We might be just a little longer because we're going to jump out and show you the OpenGov website, so
Okay.
we'll try. Ready? Thank you. So this is the project analysis for bid 26002, the Consultant for Economic Development. The normal bid process for purchasing includes several initial steps that we'll go through. For this presentation, we will discuss those steps to build the bid, determine the best type of project, creating the bid document, posting the bid online, a project analysis, the results, and then questions. So there's quite a few steps, and I can go through this a little bit faster to cut down on our time. But basically, a request for bid is issued to the purchasing department by one of the internal city departments. In this case, this one was introduced from a council member. We did not work with the council member. That was introduced to the city, and the city directed us how to work on that. When we are working on our bid document, we work with a project manager, usually from the department. In this case, our project manager was Carla. When we create the bid, we do a lot of research. We use AI, we look at other bids from other agencies, and I've given you some copies that we'll go over here in just a little bit. We develop a bid specifications or a scope of work. We look at that to make sure it's very detailed, so that there's strong communication between the city's needs and how the consultant can fill our needs. We then re-review our purpose and determine how we're going to create the bid document. For this one, we reviewed several types of bids. We had the option to do a request for qualification. A request for qualification has several factors that we use to evaluate. Price is not among those items. The bidders are evaluated by an evaluation committee. The top 3 to 5 can be invited for the next phase, and usually that's an RFP or an invitation for bid. The city may determine that there's only one bidder that could even meet our needs, and from there we could begin negotiations to start a contract. If the highest scoring bidder is unable to reach a contract, then we would move on to the next highest scoring bidder. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually we're able to come to an agreement. The drawback of this method is that price is unknown and cannot be evaluated. Additionally, negotiations can be lengthy. So if we're in a hurry to get this going, we may need to look at an RFP instead. An RFP for this project would have evaluated bidders' qualifications and price. We did not have a specific project for bidders, so we were unable to ask for price. If we do ask for price in an RFP, sometimes it's even still a bit ambiguous. We might not have an exact scope of work, so we don't know how many labor hours. And if all we have are their labor hours and rates, we may still have a price that's undefined. So we didn't feel that would work for this project. We could have selected to do a request for information. A request for information is what it says. It's information only. It helps us to figure out how we're going to work with it in the future. It does not help us. We can't hire somebody from an RFI. So for this one, we decided to go with the RFQ. So we review with the project manager or the project team. And we started the RFQ. We reviewed the scope for this project, and I've given you some handouts, handouts 1 and 2. Handout 1 was the original scope of work created by a city council member that was turned over to us. Handout 2 was the scope of service created by Carla, and we worked with those for our specifications. To find out some additional information and make sure that we were being thorough, we also looked at some online bids. We looked at bids from OpenGov and BidNet and online searches. We also used AI in the form of Copilot, AI in OpenGov, and we can use Google AI. And those are handouts 3, 4, and 5. The information was shared with the project manager to enhance the project details. The remaining sections of the bid were created, and we added additional photos and information, and that is our research on handouts 6 through 7. Purchasing and the project manager determined the timeline for the project. It was then posted online and the city's purchasing website with a link directly to the RFQ on OpenGov. We sent a courtesy email out, and we will look at those statistics further in one of the upcoming slides. I'd like to show you where the bid was posted on OpenGov. So bidders can go directly to the City of Pueblo website. They click on bidding projects, and it leads them down, and they could click on current projects, current bids. It shows them what is currently available. To show you an example of that, we're going to look at a current project that I have posted. We don't need to do that, Tammy. Let's just go to that next tab. There we go. So this project is for the wastewater. And I want to show you how easy it is for the public to use this site. The overview tab gives general descriptions. And if you'd scroll down, Tammy, it gives them all of the important timelines. If you'd grow up, please. The project documents, bidders see the entire bid document. They can see this right up front. You could go online now and see this, and I have given you a copy of the bid that we're discussing today. Bidders are able to download. We also do addenda and notices. Those are issued immediately. The same time that we post it, it goes to the bidders. Question and answer, please. This one, I don't have any questions that have come up yet, but this offers us an opportunity for bidders to submit their questions, then purchasing and the project manager work on those and respond in a timely manner. Followers. You can see we have quite a few followers on this project. Those could be people that are downloading, people in the public that are interested, future bidders. We have plan rooms that go in there so that they can share the project with their members. You can see on this bids, because it's open, it has a draft response. It's a no-charge registration for the vendors to do that, to register for OpenGov and submit their bid electronically through OpenGov. And anybody that wants to could follow this project. Tammy, if you would go to the next one, please. So I'd like to review the actual project that we're here for, and that was the consultant for economic development. That shows the overview, and if you'd go down a little bit, that shows our timeline. It was expressed to us that it was very important that we get this bid out right away in January, and so we allow bidders 3 weeks, and then we open the bid. Here's the project documents. Again, I gave you a copy of the full project document in your handout. If you could go back up, please. We had one addenda, and that was just the formal of the questions and answers. I believe we had about 19 questions on this that we did answer. So we had a very good response from the public asking questions and showing interest. Okay, if you would go up, please. Now, normally on this, you would also see a results tab because this project is closed. We do not have a results tab because the project was closed and temporarily canceled. It was not evaluated. It says at the top that the time period for evaluations expired, therefore the project was canceled. Okay, Tammy, I'd like to go back to the slides, please. So for this project, 1,223 companies received courtesy emails through the OpenGov system. I think that was a pretty good turnout. Do you want me to keep going?
It seems like there was an error on the agenda, and you have about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
713 of those companies that viewed it, of those companies that received the courtesy email, did view it. 41 companies downloaded the project documents. 26 people or companies or plan rooms followed the project. 7 companies started a response, so they did the draft response, and we did receive 5 proposals. Now to review the unfortunate results of this project. Based on section 6.11 of our RFQ, we are allowed 90 consecutive calendar days. It states the city reserves the right to analyze, examine, and interpret any proposal for a minimum period of 90 consecutive calendar days after the scheduled opening date. The city did not evaluate within 90 days. Therefore, we closed the project. It is important to note that for the bidders that did submit, we have kept their proposals confidential. Should we decide to rebid this in the future, we feel it would be unfair to give bidder one, give a copy of their proposal to bidder 2 and 3, who could then copy it and resubmit. So at this point, the proposals have been kept confidential, and the results have not been released from that. Again, it wasn't evaluated, so there really isn't a lot for us to release. What can we do in the future? We need to talk about either reissuing it as another RFQ. We can look at going through those minimum specs and the scopes again. I'm willing to do that. We can consider listing it as an RFP with a specific scope, a specific project where we can also get prices and evaluate that. I don't think an RFI is really what we want to do for this type of a project. It could be a starting point, you know, if we need to at least get started. What I also found when I did my online research, there are a lot of other agencies looking for an economic development strategic plan. They're not looking directly for one consultant. We could consider doing what they have, get an economic plan, and hire consultants that will work on those specific projects that we come up with in a plan. Or we could cancel it altogether. Okay. So I have time for questions. Purchasing, you know, we're trying to do whatever we can to help get this moving forward.
Thank you. I'll begin. Looks like we have some questions starting with President Daley.
Thank you. I want to talk to Ms. Sykes.
Yes.
So this is just like my heart's beating 200 beats a minute. Council gives direction to staff to do this. I believe it was in December through a resolution, correct?
So there was a resolution to do the RFQ,
Okay, and it was done.
and it was done.
Okay. I then reached out to the city and said, what's going on with the RFQs? I was told they were being evaluated. That's the reason why we didn't have them yet. Now I hear they never got evaluated, that there was never a process that happened to evaluate them. I was told 2 or 3 weeks ago that Mr. Hayes was going to call me and talk to me about what we wanted in this work session. We know what an RFQ is or an RFP. What's very concerning here is that we were specific in asking for this to be done and to have these people that applied be given to city council and let city council make a decision on how to move forward with it. Now it's been canceled. Now it's gone.
So my understanding of the evaluation process is that the applications were provided to city council and no one provided feedback on it. So once the project was developed and the evaluation started, my role in that, I kind of stepped back. So the evaluation process, council turned over, the evaluation process essentially died. And I understand the frustration, which is why we're back here again. We can restart the process, but the evaluation process never came to fruition.
Nowhere in this presentation did it say that part of the process is it goes back to city council and then city council makes a decision on how they want to move forward with that. I was told that the evaluation process was taking place and that we were going to be given the numbers based upon the evaluation.
So let me be clear. There's an evaluation committee, and on that evaluation committee, the committee then needs to provide evaluations based upon the proposals.
Well, we're going to be a year into this. We're going to be a year into it. City council gave direction in December. I believe it was December, November or December. I can't tell you.
It was toward the end of the year.
Towards the end of the year. We're now in July. and we have nothing, zero, zilch. And now we're being asked, well, you know, if we want to move forward, we might want to do this, we might want to do that. We were specific in what we wanted, and we got nothing out of the thing. That's just discouraging. It's discouraging beyond belief. You take part-time legislators and now put the blame on us because that didn't happen that excuse to me is becoming stale. We get blamed for everything when how the heck were we, if you ask the question and somebody tells you that it's happening and then it doesn't happen, how does it? Here's my take on this. No more requests for RFQs. We need to move forward with an RFP. We need to move forward with an RFP. We need to put it out to economic development partners, and we need to get those in front of us. It needs to go through the process. Here's a question so everybody can hear. If we did an RFP and put that out in the next 2 weeks, how long would that stay open?
My typical bid time is 3 weeks that it's out on the street.
So 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
So realistically, putting it all together and getting it out, we're 2 months out before it gets reviewed. Actually, 4.5, 5 months out before it gets reviewed and back in front of City Council.
I should be clear. Once I get it posted, I give bidders 3 weeks to
Period.
respond. So I would need a couple of weeks. We'd have to refine the scope in order to make it an RFP instead of an RFQ. We need to have a specific project that I can request prices for, or at least ask their hourly prices. We could do that within a couple of weeks.
Part of the thing that we struggled with last time was coming up with parameters for the scope of the project. That was why we did it as an RFQ rather than an RFP. And when we were looking at the different communities that did this, they did not do for a particular partner. What they were looking for was someone to develop a strategic plan. Then based upon that strategic plan, they sent out RFPs to hire someone to affect a particular part of that strategic plan. And so that was part of the struggle with putting together the RFP. And the reason we did it as an RFQ, because we were asking people to give us an idea of what that RFP should look like. And so in hopes of doing an RFQ, we were going to get some ideas of how we should fashion an RFP. And that's why we did it as an RFQ.
My understanding as we began this is that we terminated an agreement we had with the Pueblo Economic Development. Okay? Advanced Pueblo had come on board as part of the city's efforts for economic development. What City Council was looking for specifically was to bring forward these proposals where PEDCO could reapply and other companies or other organizations that were set up like what we've had over the last 40 years as far as a partnership. That's what we were looking for. And I don't know why that was so hard, because we've had that agreement in place for 40-some years. You would think that it would be easy to come up with, this is what we're looking for. In my opinion, I think there's a chasm here between what City Council, at the time, this is a new City Council, so who knows what's going to happen now. But there's a chasm between what the administration wants and what City Council wants. And I can't help but feel that this has happened the way that it's happened because the administration doesn't want it to happen. Otherwise, it would have gotten done. And I'm just discouraged by it, you know. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not throwing rocks at anybody. I'm just saying it's just kind of weird to me that here we are 7 months later and we're back at square one with nothing.
I hear your frustration, and I understand that. If we are going to go through with an RFP, what I would encourage you to do, or as we're developing, we need to come up with clear, quantifiable criteria to put in the RFP, so that when you're developing the contract, we have that clear criteria in the contract. Because I think that has been a struggle
And
in the past.
I could jump in here too. Part of it too is like going back to it was the previous council that directed it. And I know you're part of that, President Aliff, but we had meetings set up to get this direction going into it. And then afterwards, when it was being reviewed or was ready for review, we did send it out to counselors to try to get some feedback on it to assist with that. And again, we didn't have a response. The second part of this, Mr. Hayes would like to jump in and add for this as well.
So Monday night, coming up next week, you have an ordinance that's on second reading to provide funding or set aside funding to develop an economic development strategic plan. So the point of that whole plan idea is to set a course, set a vision, set the specific goals that you want to achieve. What we're talking about doing, issuing an RFP to do something, is very much like me issuing a contract to award a construction contract before we know what we're building. So that feels like a very important step in defining where you want to go and how you want this to run. But that plan would be obviously set out to a consultant or firms that can assist with developing the plan. And from that plan, you can identify the specific things, scope that you want your contractor, your consultant, service provider to do. But right now, we don't even know what we want them to do. We don't know what direction we want to go. We don't know. We have a set of financial tools in the toolbox that are codified in our ordinances. But how do you use them strategically? How do you apply them? If we're going to continue to use the same plan that hasn't been here, that's one option. But I think that developing a strategic plan is a very important part. Our city is one of the very few out there with economic development authorities or partners out there that doesn't have a strategic plan developed. And so that getting to that step feels very important in defining your way forward. And from there, then you can develop your scope. Then you can tell your partner what you want, and you can figure out how you want to do things either with a partner, in-house, or hybrid. And all of those things can be decided based on some kind of an inventory or strategy that's done through this study. Thank you.
Didn't 2 years ago, excuse me, Madam Chair, didn't 2 years ago, didn't PEDCO do a in-depth strategic plan, economic plan that was shared with the city and brought forward to the city that had specifics and things like that?
To my knowledge, no, but I don't think the council's ever adopted a plan. Normally, when we have plans like that, those would be things that council would review and adopt by resolution. I don't believe there's ever been a resolution presented in front of council to adopt any kind of strategic economic development plan.
Thank you, Mr. President. When we asked for this, my intention was that I was hoping that we could spend this time today. It looks like there were 7 applicants. Is that right?
7 that applied, but only 5 submitted.
Okay, so 5. So there's 5 folks who have applied from that ordinance that was passed in last fall, and they just, no one felt, it just didn't happen. So I'm curious, like, why can't we just see the contracts now? Why can't we just say in next executive session, can you please bring those forward to us in executive session? I'm not sure if it needs to be in executive session or if it can be in the work session in the general public, but can those applications for those 5, can we see those next time we have a work session, whether it be in open public or in the executive session?
To be fair to the bidders, we should keep their proposals confidential until a decision is made, or until we go further with another bid, or whatever decision we go forward with. So having it in work session, I don't feel as purchasing director that would be fair to those bidders.
What about an executive session?
So at this point, this bid has been closed. So what you're asking is whether or not and how that we'd go about. I'd have to look at the purchasing regs. I don't know about reopening bids.
So why did it get closed when, why
Because it was
was it
beyond,
closed?
I'm sorry.
Why was it closed when there were 5 applicants? Why wasn't those, because I've been on council 6 months now, 7 months, I don't know. I've never seen it. Have you seen them,
No.
Councilor Hernandez, Councilor Dante?
I've seen the proposals, and the thing, can I talk now?
Yes, ma'am. Go.
The thing that I'm curious about is I had to go and request them, first off. Second off, I was not told that I could make any comments on it. I thought you had a committee that was doing that. So I'm not getting full information, and I don't understand why it was never analyzed, or, why it was never analyzed. That
Purchasing
doesn't
is-
make sense.
Purchasing is kind of the middle party. We're here to protect you, the city, and taxpayer dollars, and we're here to protect the bidders. We do not establish the evaluation committee. That is established by the project manager at the time. That is established by the interested parties, can sometimes be community members. They have to be impartial parties that are on the evaluation committee. And I'm not sure if council were to approve an agreement in the future, if that is an impartial party or not. That is not my role as purchasing. We do not set up the evaluation committees. Every bid we do, the project manager sets up their evaluation committee.
Okay, I understand that, and I know I'm talking to the wrong person. Ms. Sykes, why was this not evaluated?
That's my question.
So we attempted to set up an evaluation committee. All I can tell you is that it eventually, it just never went anywhere. We had an evaluation committee. There was people on the evaluation committee that needed to be neutral. It never went anywhere, and the time expired.
So are you trying to say that there was nobody that you could put on the committee that was neutral?
No one
Or
was selected to be on the committee that was neutral.
Who does that selection?
So it was put toward the group. So there was a group of us that was on there, and of course, Teresa's part of that. The mayor's office is part of that. So, as we go through and we talk about it, the evaluation committee needs to be selected. And there was discussion of how much council wanted to be involved. And I knew that it had been sent to council. I wasn't involved in that part of it. So it sounds like there may have been some miscommunications involved in this. But during the course of this, the project expired essentially without any evaluations being done.
Okay. I have one thing to say. I'm very disappointed in this process, in the process on this one, because what has happened should not have happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Boston, I will acknowledge you, and I appreciate your patience. My eyeball went that way, so please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, not a problem. Yeah, I didn't agree with this process from day one. I thought it was very siloed on council. I had no input. I wasn't allowed to give input, in my opinion, on how this RFQ was going to be put forward. I don't think an RFQ was the right decision. I know this information was sent to everybody on council at the time, and I believe since then for, I believe, direction or our opinions on it. I thought that what was gathered from the RFQ was not consistent with what we were looking for going forward, the way I looked at the information. So I just think this whole thing, A to Z, in a sense, was handled wrong from the get-go by council or whoever, not to put blame on anybody, but we're at the position we're at. We can point fingers, we can blame. I can just say that everybody, I think the city included, is not satisfied with the position we're in. I do like the option that you presented where we have a strategic plan developed. I think that gives us some direction of where to go, how to spend the money, because I think if we're trying to create a new partner and kind of have them fill the gap that was created, it just leaves it too open-ended. The costs are going to be very large. I think with a plan in place and having consultants to kind of help execute those plans makes it a little easier. So since we're at the stage we're at, no matter what, it's going to take more time. I think if we're looking for a direction, that would be, my opinion, is to create some development plans and have consultants consult those plans and how to execute those plans.
At the time that I was pulling these examples, I did not know that there was another economic development plan that was going to be addressed in council, but that is what I found in the examples. I did not find a consultant for
professional.
economic, huh?
And you're the professional, and
And I
that's your
do a lot of
recommendation.
research. So I did give you a couple of those samples that I found online, if you'd like to look at that.
So if you're the professional, and we like to take advice from professionals, and I appreciate your opinion in this. I think that makes a lot of sense personally. Otherwise, it's too open-ended and the cap doesn't really maybe make sense. Do you want to chime in, Mr. McCain?
Yeah, and I could add too that, you know, the purpose of this with the RFQ or an RFI is to go forward with the RFP after this. So nobody was going to be selected for this position anyway going forward. And again, it was kind of a lack of direction even from the get-go on this. But that being said, going forward with an RFP or however we go forward, the information from this can be used. Like, this is not basically wasted. Like, am I correct with that, Teresa, that we can use this as a learning experience, not use,
As a learning experience.
but not use
We can't use the actual
specific,
proposals.
yes, the actual proposals, but it helps us craft what to put forward going forward if we go forward
And
with
there have been
RFP.
cases where we've canceled a bid in the
Yeah.
past, where we actually contact those bidders and say, what could we have done better? So that when we rebid it, we're meeting those gaps.
And without giving anything confidential away, you know, a lot of them were incomplete that came through, and that was an issue as well, but I can't comment on that due to the confidentiality of it.
One other suggestion I may have, doing something so vast, large, and impactful for the city 2 weeks prior to a new council coming on board maybe needs to be addressed with the new electees or postponed potentially. It's fine if the previous council wants to get it passed because that's their agenda or whatever they believe in. But I think some of those more pressing matters need to be shown or told to the new electees so that they have up-to-date information on maybe a current project we're working on that they're going to have to make some impact on going
Yeah.
forward.
And again, this was to gather information more than anything, and
Yeah.
we did gather information on it. But with something as big and as important as the economic development going forward with the city of Pueblo, you know, this is something that has to be spot on. And this, again, was to gather information. And, you know, we are looking for direction on that, and we did, but we really didn't have that direction even in the beginning, and that's what kind of got us there.
Well, I gave my direction and what I think we should do, but I'm just one of seven.
I just want to.
President-elect, and then we'll move on to Councilor Latino.
I'll yield to Councilman Naylor.
First of all, I respect what you're saying, but to say there was no direction, we had just lost the agreement we had with PEDCO. City council wanted to replace or to rehire PEDCO. Direction, there was never a gray area there. We were specific when we went through that process that this is the direction we wanted to take. So I'm going to go back to the fact that the administration doesn't want that to happen, so it didn't happen. And you're never going to convince me one way or the other that that's not what happened here. And to Councilor Boston's point, I guess every November or December when there's an election, we just shouldn't have city council meetings. We should just not vote on any legislation when there's a new council coming.
It's not what I said.
That it meant nothing and that the new council was going to do something different. I mean, I don't think that's an argument. I don't think that you have an argument. I think that we knew exactly what we wanted to happen and none of it happened.
That's not what I said.
I think that that's pretty fair. Like, I kind of agree as well. And my piece in this discussion is, as we started to talk about it, is that previous council legislated one thing to happen, and then here we are 7 months later. I mean, I was like, I've never seen this. And as we're talking about it, so I think that it's really important to recognize, like, we or the previous council legislated something and it didn't follow through. So where is the gap in that compliance with following through with what happened there? And so that's where my piece is with it. I don't know all the details. All I know is that an ordinance was passed to get one thing done, and here we are 7 months later, we haven't seen anything come up, and I'm just like, where is this? And then tonight here, and no one said it was canceled. It never got brought up in an executive session, never got brought up in work session or in conversations. So I think that it's very, very important that we on council be mindful of that was an ordinance. And I'll go over to Councilor Joe Latino because he has been patiently waiting for a minute to.
Okay, thank you.
Comment.
I guess all I need to say is this. People need to understand that as a council, is no different than the state legislature or the United States Congress. We can veto anything and everything that comes through with a supermajority of 5 votes. So I guess by trying to bypass the things that we're trying to do, as Councilman Aliff alluded to, it's very concerning to me. And I guess I'm going to say this. That's why Pueblo is where Pueblo is, because of and I'm not going to say that word. That's the coach in me. I'm going to leave that one out, the BS. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Latino. Councilor Gomez, please, and then we'll move over to Councilor Hernandez. Thank you, folks, for patiently waiting to comment.
I'm willing. You know, I think most people realize I've been screaming about this stuff a long time. And somewhere along this is the team legislative branch. You're the executive branch. Now, I don't know whose team some of our councils are playing on, but I am telling you right now, the plans are supposed to be put together and the implementation of those plans are supposed to be done by the executive branch. We fund the money. It's that simple. But to put it back on council and say it's your fault because you funded it is crap. And that's what happens here all the time. We keep on passing the buck. The executive branch better start taking some responsibility and stop blaming everybody else. Your core requests are way late. I get calls from people 3 weeks to a month that haven't heard anything. Well, if you don't, I don't know how much more staff you need. You have a lot of staff folks out there. But to blame us and then to get on us because this branch and this team doesn't show up at this team's budget hearings is ridiculous. You keep on playing on what the people don't know about the process. And we sit here as a convenient whipping boy every time you guys make a mistake. Start standing up, be honest, be accurate, and just be straight with the voters. They're not stupid, they're smart. They know what's going on here. But there's some of these inside plays that you guys keep on bringing up, and we don't hear about it until the last minute. Whatever, man, it's ridiculous.
Councilor Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wasn't on council at the time that this resolution was passed, but I can tell you that I also wasn't on council when our ordinance was passed in October, and no movement on that has ever taken place. From October to right now, there's never been any movement, and that is our responsibility is to pass the ordinance or to turn the ordinance down, to pass the resolution or not, and it is the city administration's responsibility to carry out those ordinances and those resolutions. Now, either we're all really, really dumb, which looks like it today, I can ask them, or we're really, really coy or cunning or whatever word you want to use. At some point in this beautiful city of ours, we're going to have to learn that we're going to have to work together. We're going to have to figure out what is the best way forward for us to work together. We can do it. We know we can. We've worked on other things quite well together. But we can't do it if we're always playing a little bit of side game here or there. We just can't do it. Simple questions. At what point is council involved in the bidding process?
Normally, council is not involved in the bidding process until it is going to be awarded, and then we give you a copy of the contract for construction or the professional service agreement, and at that point, council makes a vote.
Unless we ask for an ordinance that asks for a bid, correct?
And
unless we pass an ordinance that asks for a bid or a resolution
I
that
have
asks
not-
for a bid?
I was not director at that time, and I have never
No,
been
no, I'm just
involved at
saying,
that
This,
point.
I think this was just direction was given. I don't believe this was.
No, no, I'm
ordinance
not talking
passed.
about this. I'm talking about in general. If we pass an ordinance that says we want this done, at what point is the city responsible under the ordinance, under the city code, under the city charter, to come back and relay the information that, of the legislation that we passed, to come back to us and tell us where it is in the process? Is there a time frame? You already said 90 days. So we're 9, 10 months past on the other ordinance. So that one's dead too because we didn't do anything in 90 days?
So similar to this one, there was a resolution that was passed that gave direction to staff to create an RFQ for this process, which was the correct process for city council to give direction to staff. There was a consensus on council that you wanted this done, and the process started there. And so that's the proper process. It's clear direction to staff that that's what you wanted done.
And at what point is the administration responsible for coming back and reporting to council? Under charter, under code,
So
ethics,
there's
anything?
there's nothing in code or charter that gives a specific requirement that staff has to report back to city council on any given timeline. As you said, in conjunction with working together, typically there is we just work together and we report back. That did not happen, obviously, in this circumstance. And so in this is a situation that we could have done better.
Ma'am, does council get to see all the bids, or do we just see the bids that are
I had
approved?
2 council members ask for a copy of the proposals, and they signed a confidentiality and that they would not disclose that, and they were allowed to view those. They were sent to them.
So that's the only way we can view them. We would, if we're going to award, there's an ordinance to award a contract or a bid to somebody, let's call them company A. We don't get to see B, C, and D. We just see A.
As long as you sign the confidentiality and you're on that evaluation committee, then I can give you a copy of those proposals.
Who appoints the evaluation committee?
The project manager.
Who's the project manager?
In this case, it was Carla,
Okay.
and she was working directly with previous council members, I believe.
I have another question.
Yeah. If I can have an opportunity.
Hold on, just one more
I'm
question.
sorry, Ted.
That's okay.
So-
At this point, Carla, can we not take the bid that we sent out previously and send it out again?
So we could send out the RFQ, we could redo the RFQ and send it out
Can we
again.
can we redo the RFQ to an RFP, or is that a whole new change to the process?
To change
Andrew?
it to an RFP, we need a specific scope or type of project where I can ask for prices.
Okay, so we're talking about a contract of $300,000 a year, right? Basically, I mean, that's the old contract.
Well, it depends,
Right.
because it
Just-
depends
just-
on what they say.
Just for grins, we're talking about a contract that has a dollar amount to it, correct? And the problem that I could see from sitting out there in the old council was the problem with the old company was that they didn't appear to be following the contract. So why is it that, what prevents us from establishing a relationship with any economic development partner and just writing a strong contract?
So nothing really prevents us from doing that. What we were hoping to get from the RFQ was more knowledge on what that contract would entail, because we don't really know what an economic development consultant or contract should specifically look like.
But we do know to a certain extent because the city asks for it from the contract holder. They asked for the information that they wanted.
No.
So we do know that information as far as what we want from an economic partner in reporting. Am I close, Andrew?
It's kind of. So the city, I'm going to talk in my construction terms because it's not that much different. The city develops the requirements for any contract, right? We don't put out a contract that just says, or an RFP that says, tell us what you want to do for us.
Right.
we can send out a request for proposals that leaves some leeway for them to talk about how they will meet our needs, but we have to identify what the need is up front. That's the reason I was talking about the plan just a minute ago.
Right, I got
I feel like that's the important step. That helps us go through some kind of process that helps us get to a place where we can define what our requirements will be. Sorry, just one second. So the RFP piece of this is the piece that would lead to the ability to award a contract. When we've been talking about an RFQ doesn't get us to a contract. It gets us to a list of qualified participants.
Correct.
There was no contract to be awarded from this. So that's a step we can take, but it's also not necessary. You can also put this out to economic development potential partners out there and firms and whoever else that can respond. And you can set evaluation criteria. You can set qualifications for those firms in an RFP in one shot, rather than going through a two-step process.
Correct.
But the question came out in the old council meetings, direction was given to do an RFQ. But I don't know that an RFQ was necessarily implied or meant. But it led to this place where we aren't able to even issue a contract because we don't have a scope. Again, we want to get to a place where that scope is, and that's partly why we're bringing forward this agenda item next Monday.
So, Andrew, I don't disagree with you with regards to the scope. What I disagree with is that we don't know what we don't know. We do know what we want from an economic development partner. We've had it for a very, very long time. It's not. We're trying to reinvent a wheel that already exists. And I'm not talking about Petco. I'm talking about economic development partners. I'm talking about people who know how to do what we're asking people to do. It's not a.
I don't know what that is.
It's not a foreign concept.
I don't know what we're asking them to do. If we want them to do marketing, if we want them to do business recruitment and retention,
So
we need to be very specific about what that is.
I get
and
that.
If we want them to attract new businesses and that's the only narrow focus we want them on, that's a very specific scope.
Right.
But if we want broad spectrum economic development support services, including marketing, including business recruitment or retention,
Sure.
Including workforce development, all those other pieces that are, they're not named in our current contract actively. I think there's two kind of main functions.
No, I don't disagree with you,
sorry,
but I think part of what you're saying is I don't think you get that in one. I think you get that in a plan, but you don't get that in a company.
The plan, again, would
Correct.
identify this whole thing we want to see.
I got
and we
you.
can figure out these pieces we want to put out to do
I
with a
understand
partner.
that. I understand that piece. But what we can decide is that we want to send out an RFP for a small scope with regards to this is what we want to do as an economic part. We want people who are going to bring primary jobs to Pueblo to help us find companies that are going to bring primary jobs to Pueblo. Correct? We can make it that simple.
I believe you can do that once you've identified some scope.
Gotcha.
Right? That's the piece that's missing here.
Absolutely.
That's the next step.
Correct.
Like I said, I don't want to go build you a building that I only know what the foundation's going to
Right.
look like.
I don't want to build a building that's already built either. So we don't need two of them.
And if we need to remodel that building.
Correct. Let's remodel it.
Let's
Thank
figure
you.
out what that scope is.
That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilor Dante, I'll go ahead and leave room for the last two questions or comments here by Councilor Dante and Councilor Gomez.
So, after hearing everything that you've said, I'm going to assume that you were never going to come back to us with any information on this.
If the evaluation had gone through, we would have identified the qualified participants and then come back probably with representatives from council. We were working with a couple of representatives from council at the time to develop the RFQ. One of those council members is no longer on council, and so we would have come back to develop an RFP based upon the RFQ. That was the goal. And then sent out that RFP, and then we would have ultimately come back to council with a contract. That was the plan.
I'm not asking you what you would have done. What I'm asking you is, you never came back to us at this point. Would you have ever come back to us and told us that it expired?
So probably not. I mean, there was no mechanism to come back and come back to you with it expired. It most likely would have come up in other conversations, but no, it would not have been a specific item on the agenda from me.
Okay, to me, that's not appropriate. Also, when the Petco got terminated, I'm looking at it like any other company. When you terminate something, you normally have a plan on what is going to replace that termination. And obviously, there was not a plan. Also, I want to talk about the ordinance that's coming up with $400,000. On that ordinance, I'm not seeing, you're talking about a consultant doing these strategic plan.
Correct.
I didn't see anything about an RFP going out to anybody. I didn't see a company that you were
Correct.
going to hire on there.
Normally, council doesn't give you don't need an ordinance or resolution to say, go issue an RFP, just like the direction for the RFQ. You can give direction for that. But the ordinance or resolution would come at the time of award. That's the only time council has to take formal legislative action to do that. If you want us to go out and pursue, write a scope of work, issue an RFP, you can do that without having to issue a resolution or pass a resolution or an ordinance.
Okay, so you can do that, but why do you need the $400,000 before you do the RFP?
Because every contract we award, we have the money budgeted and appropriated prior to doing any contract, just like construction. I don't go say, contract, go build a building, we'll find the money later, right? Same, I mean, it's the same, it's a parallel process.
So
Sorry, I
even-
keep going back to the construction parts.
So so you get the $400,000 and you appropriate it into an account.
Correct.
You send out an RFP, and the RFP comes $300,000.
Yep, and then
So what happens to the other $100,000?
it can be, it's still council's discretion to do whatever. We can put that back into the half-cent fund. We can put that into a different project that council directs that would be half-cent eligible. Those are still half-cent funds, and that money is still in that project account until council takes some action to either move it back into the unappropriated balance or into a new project account.
Okay, thank you.
It's not spent if that's what you're getting. It would only be, the amount of the contract award would be the amount that would be spent.
Okay, Councilor Gomez, we will
All right, this is, I don't know why this is a surprise to everybody. This is just indicative to me of the expertise and the decades' worth of experience from economic development and the leaders that were here that this mayor has chased out of this community, whether it's PEDCO, whether it's restructuring Pura, whether it's working with city clerk not to disseminate information out that I've sent out, deleting resolutions, eliminating ordinances, things that I put together. They're gone, they're missing. What we're dealing with is corruption here, folks. And I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm telling you, I've been in this political field for 45 years at the highest levels at the federal government, and I've never seen anything like what I'm seeing here right now. And we are hurting our community. We don't want to recognize it. We all want to get along, but we're not playing on a level, honorable playing field. The people that I'm working with on this dais, I'm proud to work with. Okay, this is the team legislators. We are not team executive branch. You guys better pick up a rule book, you better pick up a Bible or something and start doing this right. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Just two questions real quick.
Okay. Councilor Hernandez, I will, we'll only field about 5 more minutes to continue our
Just two
conversation.
questions.
So, yes.
Carla, might it be better either to write an ordinance that says that the administration has to report back on a regular basis within the ordinance itself to council, or the ordinance that we are passing have the language that says we want to hear something back within 90 days or 120 days or whatever?
So in this particular case, I'm just going to take responsibility for it. I don't think you need to, on a regular basis going forward, report back, because typically that's already in there. So I will take accountability for this one, that I was the project manager as it was developed, because I was working with former councilor Maestri in getting this done. I will tell you, it was a struggle to get the RFQ developed, and I worked diligently to get it done. Once it was done and the RFQ was sent out, I kind of stepped back from the process, but I should have been more diligent in following through and getting it back to council. So I will take responsibility for that. I don't think you need an ordinance to do that, because staff is typically really good in getting it back to council and reporting back to council. So this is not indicative of how projects typically would go forward. So
Thank you.
in this, I'll just leave it there.
Counselors, thank you. Counselors, I feel like listening to this, and this is just kind of my last comment on this, I feel like, Ms. Sykes, I'm sorry, but I disagree. What I would like to see, and I'm wondering what just kind of ponder this, and if this is something that we want to consider, is I think that maybe we need to codify a resolution that says when we pass something like this, especially when there's a contract, that that it has to be executed within a number of days, and then that we need to come back in about 60, 90 days, having some benchmark to say, we're following up on this, so that we don't drop the ball on this again. And I think it's our own accountability. So just something to think about that I think might help us with improving our process for oversight for what we're funding. So let's just think about that.
Madam, I have the mayor on speakerphone. If you
We're
want her to
moving
speak.
forward with the agenda right now because we're about half an hour. So we'll move forward. Thank you.
So
Councilor
we don't have
Gomez,
any
can I
direction yet,
respond
We have to move forward.
but we don't have any direction. This has not
Doug,
been
I
clear.
agree. I
Okay,
agree.
so-
We need to work on that
So we
piece.
have no direction, and I don't have any way to bring you something in 90 days for which I don't have any direction.
Didn't Mark give you direction to do an RFP?
Okay.
So normally, when we do this, council members each individually speak on what direction they'd like to hear, and we get a majority, and we get a direction. But it is not clear right now what direction you'd like us to take. So I'd appreciate that clarity, so we can take this action and report back to you, since we're being held this accountable for this.
Right, no, I agree.
I need to
agree.
speak, so you need to tell her
Thank
I
you.
need to speak.
The mayor needs to speak.
I don't wait.
Councilwoman Reyes-Gomez, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. It is quite the embarrassment that I have to step out of a community
We're moving
meeting for
forward
the
with
way
the
that you
agenda. Thank
are
you.
treating, the city council is treating my staff tonight, and how this has played out. It is very disrespectful and very unfortunate. And what I will tell you is what we have been doing this entire time is what city council requested us to do. We put the RFI together. The ball was dropped by many city council members to the point where we were stood up in meetings to meet with President Aliff and Councilor Regina Maestri. Completely stood up. My staff put this together, put it out. We got 5 responses. The responses weren't great. Some of them incomplete. One of the responses is now suing the city of Pueblo. So I don't know if that's the kind of relationship you want to have moving forward with an economic development partner. 2 of you requested the documents and the proposals from my office, President Aliff and Councilwoman Dante, in which I gave you and asked for your feedback, in which neither one of you responded with your feedback to anybody on the staff. The proposal was then not fulfilled. We had no direction, no information. I spoke to President Aliff a couple weeks ago and figured out what it would take to then take the information that was collected in the RFI. The RFI was never going to be selected. Nobody was ever going to be selected by the RFI. That was going to be used to determine our position to put an actual RFP together, which city council would participate in this. You would actually have to do something and participate as city council members, telling the staff what you want to see with your new economic development partner. And that is where we are tonight. I am so, I just can't believe what I've been watching for the last 30 minutes from city council to city staff. It's unbelievable. They don't deserve that. If you want to take your punches out on somebody, you can take them out on me, but not my staff. It's inappropriate, and my poor staff is sitting there tonight taking this and still trying to work with city council to move this RFP forward.
Mayor Graham, I will give you 30 seconds to finish, and we're moving forward with the agenda. Thank you.
In the city, but we have been doing it because city council wanted to put an RFI out for the community. So that's where we are, and we will continue working towards putting an RFP together. But city council has to participate. You have to give me information.
Mayor Graham,
in
thank you
what
for your
want to
feedback.
see
We're moving forward with
in
the
your new
agenda.
partner, and that is where we are.
I don't, the next step on the council's agenda is Councilor.
Madam Chair, we still don't have direction.
I think that at this point, I feel like council, you can help me with this and,
So the 90-day clock can't start until we have some direction.
I gave direction
I just need to
during
be
my
clear.
statement. I had
Please.
my opinion. I said we should come together, form an RFP, put it out there, and potentially have the economic development plans and the strategic plans. That is my opinion, that is my direction.
Could I ask just a suggestion? If we draft an RFP and bring that back to council for some review and get some feedback so that we have some direction before it goes out to make sure it includes the scope items you'd like to see, that's something that feels doable, and that could certainly be something that's done within that 90-day period.
Okay, Mr. Hayes, I feel like that's a very good compromise, and I think that I would agree with that. And maybe, like, can we follow up on another work session? And
Please.
how much time do you need? 30 days, 45, 60 days? What do you need?
Let's say 90 right this minute, but we can probably be back before that, okay?
Okay.
We need to
Okay.
reconvene and just make sure we're on the right track for you.
So it also maybe means that we need to consider moving that resolution or ordinance for the economic development off the agenda for
So,
next meeting.
different topic, right? That's the plan. You're asking for an RFP for a partner.
Yes,
Two
sir.
different things coming up. And there's potentially an RFP also for the development of that strategic plan that would be developed as well. We could bring both back together if you'd like. But obviously, next Monday, you can take some action to either table, postpone that, move it to another date certain, and we can have that discussion as well together. These are two pieces that do fit together. So I appreciate the extra
Yes.
direction.
No, I think as a team, that's how the next step, I feel like it's the next step. So moving forward with the agenda, it looks like there were some.
Thank you.
Letter E is, since Mayor Graham isn't here to comment on this piece, should we table
It's me.
that till next time?
No, it's me. It's all me.
Brian?
Yes.
Okay. Brian, I'm so sorry. I missed that, sorry.
You single?
Do you want to start my timer, Clyde?
I think Councilor Boston went for a little break, but if you're good with starting, we can.
I'll wait for him to get back
You want to
if
wait?
you want to
Okay.
wait.
He just
Yeah.
went real quick for a break. Everyone now, you have 2 minutes to go. There's another one down the hall, yeah. We need a little bio break, that's fine. begin. Was Brian? There you are, Brian. We're going to begin. Counselors, if you could make your way back to the dais, we're starting the work session agenda, please. If you're not here to attend the work session, please either take a seat or if you could kindly leave the chamber. We're moving forward with our meeting. Thank you. Counselors, if you could please approach the dais. Okay. All right. Well, Mr. McCain, we're ready to begin. Let's see. Looks like we have you on the agenda. I'll acknowledge you for 20 minutes for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So this is in response to Councilor Gomez's request. I know that these have been requested, and some of it's been answered publicly, some of it's been answered via email, some of it's been answered verbally, but I think to get it officially on the record, I did take, Councilor Gomez, all of your questions verbatim from the transcript from the last time requested, except for the first one. So the first one is the gates at Ray Aguilera Park. Just to give you an update on that, they weren't being closed because near the swimming pool, the gates have a huge gap in them. So the problem was when you close the rest of the park and somebody was in there, they have to go all the way around to get through them. Those should be going in this week. But with a lot of our city assets, including Public Works, dealing with the fire, I don't know if that's happening. I don't know what the status of that is, but we have a lot of our Public Works staff out fighting the fire and a lot of our equipment out there. So, but I'll let you know as soon as I find out, get that verified that they're working on it or when they will be complete if they're not working on it right now, but it shouldn't be too much longer. So the first one was, I'm requesting the process for implementing a full forensic audit, full forensic outside audit of the half-cent sales tax as opposed to the standard for a comprehensive annual financial report that I was provided in its stead. I also have staff that help me put this together, but they're the experts on a lot of this stuff. So if there's any questions that I might have, Danny or finance jump in on this one. So first, I want to say that we need to hold a work session to discuss what specifically is being requested and determine whether a majority of council wishes to proceed. You have mentioned that there's multiple audits. I think somebody said 17, and it may not be the one that you're looking for the purpose of it. We need to define the parameters for the audit team. We also need to determine whether the review is intended to be high level or transaction by transaction, and about how many years are being looked at. If the request relates solely to the interpretation or enforcement of the municipal code, this most likely falls outside the expertise of a forensic auditors. Council would also have to identify a funding source and adopt action to budget and appropriate the funds. This would most likely need to be paid for by the general fund, which just a forensic audit alone for going back for, say, a year, sometimes that's upwards of $200,000 on it.
Mike, I just have a question. In reference to professional, this would be under professional services?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a contingency for that for city council. Okay, that's what
It could be, depending on how it's done, but it's general fund money, regardless where it comes out of. It's the general fund.
Thank you.
And then the next step would be to publish an RFP and go through that process. But further on audits, because I know that multiple were brought up in different types, we currently conduct many types of audits in the city, and it's not just from us. If you look up here, our audit of the budget started in April. It should be finished soon. You've seen presentations. It is a third-party audit. They've come in front of you. Danny, if you have any questions on the specifics of that, Danny's more than happy to answer those, but they are all conducted by third party. What you'll see in the next council meeting there was an award that we received for the 43rd year, Danny? Was it 43 years? 48 years, and what's that award specific to? The award is for excellence in financial reporting. Departments regularly perform EPRs. I know you asked for performance audits. That's an employer performance review. That goes to the general staff all the way up to the department heads. Those are routinely performed, sometimes every year, sometimes more than that, depending on the level of employment. Those are for exempt, non-exempt, and appointed staff. City departments are frequently audited by various government agencies and funders. These can include financial audits, programmatic audits, compliance audits, environmental audits, and performance audits. And there's more than that. So every department in the city and the city as a whole is constantly under scrutiny for that. This includes all aspects of a department or a program, including procurement, which goes back to purchasing. So when we have auditors come in here, whether they be federal, state, or third party, the purchasing department opens up their books, because one of the most important things that they look at, and we're even learning that, I mean, it's even important now with the fires going on, because our purchasing policy and our procurement policy it has to be legit. So when you have federal money touching something or state money, they look at that with a fine-tooth comb. And the feds are probably the most laser focused on those. And they check for program eligibility, fiduciary aspects, and internal controls. They even audit our audits when it comes to city departments. Sometimes city departments will audit other city departments to stay compliant with the feds, who also edit that city department to make sure they're auditing the other city department to keep it straight. Again, federal, state grant, and special funds require increased scrutiny and accountability to funders, whether that be the government or private. Housing, stormwater, fire, PD, transit, and ARPA are routinely audited by funders to ensure departments are compliant with all funding requirements. For an example, HUD will be auditing housing in September. They'll be here for a couple days. DOLA constantly checks in and makes sure that we're in compliance. In fact, we have people in finance that is their job, is to audit everything and every dollar and cent that is spent to make sure we are in compliance.
Excuse me, real quick, just for edification, it's 23 audits. I checked it out.
Councilor Gomez, I'm going to ask that you hold till they're done with the presentation.
I don't mind. I'm going to stop at the end of each one of these. So let me.
Okay.
I'm
I'm confused. Is this a correspondence? This is not our normal. I just don't want to interrupt.
I think it's easier that if I answer each of his questions and then ask if there's any questions following that question instead of waiting to the
Councilor
end.
Gomez.
Yes.
Okay.
Or anybody on council.
Okay.
So I'm going question by question to answer these. So what was your question, sir?
I apologize. Thank you.
Just wanted to, you had said 17 audits. The last
I don't know
number
how
I
many
came
there
up
are.
with is 23, just so
Yeah.
you know. There's
Yeah.
transactional, there's performance, there's all kinds of them. I don't want to list them all, but I appreciate you responding to this. Thank you.
But again, we need to identify what type of audit the council is looking at for something, because if it's a performance audit, then we do those. And I could show, well, I can't because that's an HR issue and that's confidential,
Okay.
but you know what I mean. Moving forward, I'm requesting the drafting of an action plan in regard to retaining and outside the city. So I took this out of the transcript, so jumbles it up every now and then, but retaining and outside the city attorney strictly dedicated to the council legislative branch. So again, this is pulled straight from the transcript. So we did have a work session on this. City Attorney Sykes gave a presentation on this, and basically what it said, while city council can hire personnel, it cannot do so to the extent that is inconsistent with the charter. Retaining special counsel is specifically reserved by the charter to the city attorney, with a limited exception that does not currently apply. So potentially, like, that exception could be if there is the mayor and city council involved in litigation against each other, or city council versus city council involved in litigation. That creates that conflict of interest in which outside attorney would be applied. The Department of Law shall exercise all legal and administrative function of the municipal government and signed by the ordinance or general law to the city attorney. That comes from the Charter 6-2, basically saying, and stop me if I'm wrong, Carla, that every attorney that works for the city falls under the city attorney's office, and even outside counsel falls under the city attorney's office, correct? Okay.
Department of Law, correct?
Department of Law.
Okay,
City attorney's office or Department of Law, however you want to define it. The city attorney's office represents the city, acting through its various representatives, city council, the mayor, city departments, enterprises, boards, and commissions, and acts as the legal advisor to city council, the mayor, city departments, enterprises, boards, and commissions, and city staff. And that's consistent across the board. Every city attorney is assigned to a different area. You have somebody that's working for police, you have somebody that works for civil service. So similar to the city council, and if Harley's your attorney assigned to city council, we have a civil service, which is another elected body through the city of Pueblo that is separate from the executive branch.
I have a question on this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the city, oh, sorry.
I'm deaf.
Does the city council have confidentiality with Harley?
So typically, there is no confidentiality specifically between individual, they call them constituent clients. So the client that is the city attorney's client is the municipality itself. So the constituent clients would be the mayor, the department heads, city council members. So there's no specific attorney-client privilege personally between those members and the attorney. Now, with that said, when you call the city attorney's office does not go and disclose everything you say to other constituent members to the extent that that information is not needed for other work that's either in the office or within the city. So that the answer to that is yes and no. So there's no specific privilege, but your information is not necessarily shared.
I've got to just add some. Aren't you restricted just to form? You want to give us advice in reference to things like whereas, and signatures. That's fine. But when it comes to structuring in reference to the language, that's up to the counselor. So if the counselor has enough people on the dais, they could do it upside down in Japanese if they want, as long as it gets. We don't need the approval of the city attorney. We don't. If you're the city attorney, you're the city attorney for the mayor, or you're the city attorney for the council?
City attorney for the city.
It's the city attorney for the city.
For the
city
city.
attorney represents the city as a whole.
Okay.
The constituent clients are the mayor and city council members.
What happens when
You're
at
all
odds?
clients of the city attorney.
What happens when you're at odds if you have difference of opinions?
So if you guys have difference of opinions,
What
that
happens
does
if you
not.
have difference of opinion with the city council attorney that you've selected for us? What happens if you have us arguing on one end and you're arguing on behalf of the mayor? What happens?
So typically, if it is an issue, there shouldn't be a conflict because the client is the city. So typically, if you have differing, even if you have differing policy positions,
Yeah.
the legal decision, the legal policy, the legal position should still be the same. Because the client is the city, not individual members.
I wish that was the case. All right,
Well,
thank you.
I don't think that's ever not
Yeah.
been the case.
I do believe it has been.
Okay, moving forward, I request the dissolution of the Mayor's Advanced Pueblo Initiative and to respect the vote of the people and recognize the full authority of PEDCO in accordance with the economic development intent as outlined in the original half-cent ballot initiative mandate, and that was by a vote of the people. So first off, this has been answered verbally and via email. Per section 3-12 of the charter, in order for something to be abolished, it would have to be created by city council in the first place. Advanced Pueblo is not a city department, consequently, council cannot abolish it. Section 3-12, creation of new departments or offices. Change of duties. The council by ordinance may create, change, and abolish offices, departments, or agencies. Council by ordinance may assign additional functions or duties to offices, departments, or agencies established by this charter, but may not discontinue any independent established by this, any department established, may not discontinue any department established by this charter. Under section 1-5-2 on the mayoral powers, appointment administrative committees have the power to designate from the administrative service such committees and the officers thereof as he or she shall find necessary for the proper consideration of administrative problems. Such committees shall meet at the request of the mayor and shall make such recommendation on matters referred to them as they shall find necessary for the best interest of the city. Basically, what's it's saying and what the charter says is this is not a department created by city council. This is a committee. The mayor has the ability to create committees, and there are multiple committees in the city. Similar, I listed a few. We have the Commercial Development Review Committee, the Accident Review Committee, the Health Benefits Committee. There's probably multiple ones out there that I don't even know about that are established committees in the city working for the benefit of the city. Again, Advanced Pueblo is not a department. It is a committee set forward by the mayor. Going forward, too.
I would ask the mayor, I would ask the mayor, what's the problem with working with, why couldn't we have advanced Pedco? I've asked this from the beginning, when I sat in, let me finish. 42 years, creating jobs, 12,190 of them, and any community would die to have that kind of record of all primary jobs. We're even taking half-cent salesmen and illegally paying for positions at the executive branch. What I'm talking about is, why don't we just sit here and understand, why do we get rid of, or trying to get rid of, or replace Pedco that has proven their worth to this community? I'm not just 100% Pedco fan. I'm just telling you, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm not looking at the opinions, the emotion. They've done a good job.
So in the initial meetings of Advanced Pueblo and when we were putting that together, Pedco was at the table with Advanced Pueblo. Jeff Shaw showed up to those meetings. We held them weekly, including with Pura, other partners. They were a part of that.
What was the purpose of Advanced Pueblo then?
Basically, it's coordination. It's simply similar to our commercial development review. It's getting everybody in the same room because there's such a discommunication between everybody on it that we're all on the same page to increase economic development and help the process out. The role of municipal government when it comes to economic development, number one is streamlining the process. And to streamline the process, you need good communication. And I've worked on this in other municipalities and other cities and other regions for probably 15 years on this, but that was the purpose of this. It's to bring everybody to the table. That's how it started.
So what's the purpose of trying to eliminate Pedco? I don't understand.
That's a legal question, and I am not commenting on that due to litigation right now. But I can tell you this. So Pedco, returning it, I think the question said, recognize the full authority of Pedco in accordance with the economic development intent as outlined on the original half-cent ballot initiative mandate, and that was by the vote of the people. I put the ballot language up here, and it's on the next sheet. Pedco and the half-cent sales tax are completely separate, and they always have been. One predates the other. With that, the language that was approved by the voters does not mention Pedco in it. Now, I get that they are associated with each other, and they have been for quite some time, but they are two separate things. Pedco continues to operate. They are continuing to be an organization. In fact, I think they just named somebody as the president or director or executive director. I don't know. But Pedco is a 501c6 organization, which is a nonprofit membership group formed to improve business conditions for specific industry or profession, rather than to generate profit for individual members or serve the general public. They're not there to serve the general public. It's an advocacy membership organization for a specific industry or profession. It's similar, 501c6, the NFL is a 501c6. That's the example everybody uses. My former employer was a 501c6. We're a membership group, and that's what Pedco is. They continue to operate, and they are paid by membership dues. That's how they get their money.
And their goal is primary jobs, correct?
I don't have their mission statement in front of me, but I'm more than happy to look that up. You could pull it up online. I
I'm just
don't know
wondering why
off
the
the top of
city
my
can't
head.
work with Pedco. I just don't understand what the problem is.
Okay, that's a separate conversation. Again, we're in litigation with that, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of that.
All right, no, just questioning.
I have a question on a committee.
Yeah.
So when does a committee cease being a committee? Is there a test when they have an employee or they make expenditures? When does it become a department?
When it's approved by council, so it becomes a department only through council. That's when it.
So the entity could make expenditures, hire employees? Not that that's happened, I'm just asking the question.
Because the committee, they're already employees of the city. So for instance, the Commercial Development Review Committee, that's planning, public works, wastewater, all that. They're already employees. The committee is just to get them together to talk about stuff to make it
So the committee
easier.
has no specific employee? There's nobody that just works for the committee?
There is the.
Got a part-time person.
Yeah, the marketing, Ivana.
Yeah.
What's her job title? I can't remember, but I could get that. But she was hired out for marketing for economic development.
She doesn't work for the committee.
Yeah, she
works
doesn't work for the
city.
committee. She works for the city, but that's
And
her-
what department is she, marketing?
the mayor's office.
She works under the mayor's
Yeah,
office.
yeah. So the marketing, that would be Haley Sue. Robin said, that's under the mayor's office, and that's what she works with.
So the question that I had with regards to, I'm sorry, Mark, were you done? I apologize. With regards to council having its own attorney, or any employee for that matter, I think that the city charter does say that we can hire anybody that we feel that we need to help us perform our duties, correct?
So council.
That's 35H, I believe.
So council can hire personnel to help it with its duties as long as that it is consistent with provisions of the charter. The
So
charters,
it doesn't say that. It just says specifically that we can hire whoever we need to help us perform our duties. It doesn't say anything beyond that.
it says under, I believe it's section 3.5, under the general powers of city
That's
council, that they
right.
have whatever powers as long as it's consistent with the charter. So you can hire personnel, you can exercise your powers as long as they're consistent with other provisions of the charter.
Okay.
The other
I understand
provisions
that.
of the charter just say that the city attorney is the one that is the only person that can hire special counsel.
Can you send that to me so I can
Sure.
see it for myself?
Sure.
Thank you.
Section 6.
6.7, I believe, is the
6.7.
one that talks about.
Six,
special-
seven.
6.7 is the
Section
one that.
6.7?
Yeah.
Thank you. The
Glad
other
I'm
question I
answering
had is
questions you don't
with regards to, we also have Katie that works for us.
Yep.
But she doesn't work for us.
She's under the mayor's office.
So city council effectively
So
can't.
wouldn't that fall under 5H? She's not council.
So city council technically can't employ, it's the city that's going to employ them.
Well, no,
and
it's the city that pays for them, but we can hire them
So you
under the
would,
charter.
so you can hire them, but city council doesn't have any mechanism to manage them or to,
Granted, but
you know what I'm saying?
But they would
So-
still work for us. We just don't pay them. It's the city, because we are all part of the city.
So.
The city would pay
Under
that
the
salary.
charter, the mayor controls all staff. So council doesn't control any staff. So even though you
So
may
then we
hire
can't
her.
hire anybody we want to
So
help
you
us perform our duties.
So I think the language is intended that you guys would be control of selecting her. Maybe that was poor language. So you would select her, but
Well, maybe that's the next big thing we do is actually clear up the charter, because there's a lot of that
Yeah.
Yeah.
misconception.
That takes a
because
charter amendment. and
there's
vote of
no
the
way
people.
for city council to manage or have any control over the employees, because all the employees under our general service are under the executive branch, which is under the mayor.
Right.
And that's by charter.
Okay. Again, can you show that
Yeah,
to me?
I can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My question around that too is, does that involve a contractor? An attorney maybe we'd want a contract, so it's not necessarily a city employee? You would maybe just have to select the contractor, but
So all attorneys, whether they're contract attorneys, special attorneys, are all still under the city attorney's office, under the direction of the city attorney by charter. Now, so while this, and I want to be clear that while the city attorney hires and is under the direction of the city attorney, all attorneys are. If there is a true conflict, should there a true conflict arise, and a true conflict is not from a difference of opinion between one constituent client and another, but if a true conflict arises, under our rules of professional conduct, the city attorney's office would have to not withdraw, but remove itself from that situation. And in that case, we would hire outside counsel, and we would create a situation where we would not be involved, and we would not have any access to that information. So if a true conflict arises under our rules of professional conduct, we're going to remove ourselves from that situation. We're still bound by the rules of professional conduct. And I developed and I've sent to you guys the ethics guidelines that bind the law department that we've adopted. So all this is spelled out in those ethics guidelines for our office. And so hopefully, I know they're lengthy, but hopefully you've taken the time, or you will take the time to read that, because it kind of spells it out in more detail. But if a true conflict arises, we're going to withdraw, for a better use of a better word. We're going to withdraw from that situation. And let me just say, if you have questions about confidentiality, if you are concerned about confidentiality, then please contact me and talk to me about it. I have had counselors call before and discuss things with us and ask us not to share that information with others. And as long as we can do that, and there's no harm to the city, then we will honor that to the best of our ability. For some reasons, if they've asked me to do that, and I think there's practical reasons why I think that information ought to be shared, because someone else has the answer to that question, or maybe a problem that can be easily solved by involving somebody else, and I'll share that with them. I think that we just need to have those conversations. So please, just have the conversation with me.
Okay.
Or Harley.
So going forward to the next one, I request the immediate censor or ethics complaint process to be activated in reference to any public official who ignores any of the NDA provisions by the executive branch regarding Project Falcon. I can say that the administration and staff took great care to avoid releasing any information or making statements that were not already public information or that were not explicitly approved for release by Project Falcon. I forgot, cut it out, but the second part was to cease all communication on behalf of City Council with Project Falcon. The administration, all communication with Project Falcon was on behalf of the city. We're not communicating on behalf of City Council, never have.
Just real quick, the product was mentioned by the executive branch in the paper.
That was public information through an air permit published on CDPHE's website. I'm not going to comment on that, but that information was public and it was already on the internet, and it was anybody that applies for an air permit, that is public information, and that was the information that was in the air permit. From here, From here on in, I request formal action be taken in regard to removing the mayor from the self-appointment with associated voting rights to the Pura Board due to the obvious conflicts of the fiduciary interests and responsibilities of both physical entities working in the same room. So in Pueblo Municipal Charter, Section 2.1 designates all members of City Council and the mayor as officers of the city. As one of their mayoral appointments, the mayor may appoint an official of the city. The statute does not limit who the official may be, only that whomever the mayor chooses must be subject to approval by City Council. As an official of the city, the mayor is eligible for appointment to the authority just as any member of City Council. And the mayor's appointment was approved by Council on January 12th of this year. There have been, this has been brought up in the past by former councilors. And I'm not saying recently, but in the past, as former councilor has raised concerns about councilors casting votes as members of boards and commissions on items that they would subsequently vote to approve at council. So say you're on P&Z, you're voting on something, approving something, and then you come back to council and you vote on it. So when you're on these boards and commissions that do vote, you're voting twice. So you're voting once with your commission or your board and then once in front of council. And that was the question. Now, I think that gets in a weird ethical area, but that is legal.
Would it be outside the realm for somebody to make favor with the mayor and have them vote the way she votes if she doesn't abstain?
She doesn't vote on council.
I didn't say council, I'm talking about the Pura Board. I'm worried about the Pura Board. The Pura Board has initiative money, it has money for projects that are paid by the taxpayer. And then you have the mayor sitting on it, who also has that same kind of money, the fiduciary responsibility in that area. Yet we have them in the same room. Who is not going to want to support a mayor? I don't understand why that's so hard to digest. It's a conflict of interest.
That is part of being in office and serving on boards and commissions. The same could be said by anybody on the dais about serving on a board or commission, right? Mm-hmm. Because say that you're in your district and you're voting on something on, I don't know, just take the the river, we'll just make one up, the River Commission, that you're going to clean up trash on the river and it's in your district and you want to do that, it's the same thing. Like part of being an elected official and serving on boards of commission is that there are those things that come up, but that's part of the role.
I understand, but it'd be appropriate if the mayor didn't appoint herself. That's a problem.
But council, she appointed herself and council approved it.
That's
Not all of the council.
That doesn't matter.
That's my question. My question is, can we legally reject anybody, any person to a commissioner board? Or are we just, we have, our only responsibility is to say yes?
It's similar to Congress, so when
So
you
we
look
only have
at
the responsibility to say yes?
yes or no.
Well, but no doesn't apply, right?
Yes, it does. This
Yeah,
council
you could
voted
vote-
down somebody
yeah.
for planning and
So
zoning appointments.
we
You
could have
can-
voted down the mayor had
it-
we decided we wanted to.
Yeah, it's the same thing as when the Senate approves presidential appointments.
But that's not what the charter says. The charter doesn't say that. The charter says that we advise and consent.
And approve commissions, right?
That's what
Can
it
you pull
says.
up? I don't have my computer in front of me, so.
Yeah, well.
Let me finish the rest of this
You got it.
if Carla could pull it up, or we could circle back to that and then so I get through all these questions. The mayor has no vote on council being separate from the legislative branch, thus no conflict when it comes to council's legislative responsibility or authority to determine slum or blighted areas and designate such areas as urban renewal areas. So again, it's saying that she has no vote on council to approve the urban renewal authority that comes in front of you.
Right.
Can I follow up on your statement, Councilman
Sure.
Fernandez? So there was a situation not long ago where planning and zoning had an appointment and council, at the direction and the choice, chose to break it into separate questions to disapprove one member and approve another because people didn't think a certain member was good for the said board. So it is completely within council's power. If we saw all the appointments of every single one of us to a board and the mayor, we could have broken it into separate questions.
No,
and
I understand what
disapprove
you're
that.
saying, but I don't think that's what the charter says. I think the charter says that we get to say yes to what.
Well, that's not what happened.
Right.
Give me a chance to look it up, because I
Thank
think
you.
there's a couple of different provisions. There's when council confirms appointments to appointed positions, and that may be different than
think it's
appointments
boards
to
and
boards.
commissions is what
So
I
let
read.
me,
I'll
let me
check
just,
too.
I'll look.
So let me go through this while she looks for that.
Mr. McKeon, I'm going to allow about 5 more minutes to wrap this up because we need to move forward with our agenda. Thank you.
I have 2 more to go through. I don't have my glasses on, so I see it. Okay. I request an accurate and clear delineation labeling between the primary and retail job classification designations, so we have a clear understanding what primary jobs are, what retail jobs are, and the constituents know the difference. Primary job is defined by the ordinance, which has been said here multiple times. Full-time position in private sector employment by manufacturing, business, commercial, or service industries, producing, assembling, or distributing products, or providing services primarily or ultimately for sale, consumption, or use outside of the city and county of Pueblo, Colorado. Employment resulting from a regional tourism project approved by the Colorado Economic Development Commission, which qualifies for the state sales tax increment revenue pursuant to the Colorado Regional Tourism Act, CRS 24-46-301, and employment resulting from an economic catalyst project. That is the definition of a primary job. Retail job, not defined by the ordinance, but if you Google it, a retail job involves working in the retail industry, which focuses on selling products or services directly to the end consumer for personal use, rather than for resale or business purposes. It's a retail job could be a primary job if it fit the right criteria. I don't think that's happened, but there has been an argument for that, and that was actually presented at a board meeting years ago that I attended. So I'll leave that there. I'm going to go to the last question to make sure we cover everything. I request that the city clerk investigate and report on how many city councilors have any of their past memos, resolutions, and ordinances have been deleted over the last 2.5 years and were deleted at the point of dissemination, and who ordered those deletions. I'm unclear of a specific incident that the question refers to, but nobody has ordered a deletion of anything. It is impossible for us to log on to a computer, delete anything. I have my entire IT staff here, and I know we're running out of time. They can go through this, but we have multi-factor authentication, a security policy. Every record is public information, including official business on personal email, and falls under CORA. There is legitimately no way to delete an electric record per our policy. Data records, email documents, spreadsheets, etc., are retained for 2 years post-employment, barring litigation hold. During the employment, all data records remain intact unless deleted by an employee. However, deleted emails are recoverable until the email is 2 years old. This is per the city's retention policies and the Colorado Electronic Records Retention Act. Also, I can say that the charter again provides that council and its members shall deal with administrative services solely through the mayor, and neither the council nor any member thereof shall give orders to any subordinates of the mayor, either publicly or privately. I've said this a million times. This keeps us from getting into situations where staff's not doing their job or there's miscommunication. If you want staff to do something or you're requiring something from staff, go through me. That keeps everybody accountable. That way, in case somebody shows up and say, hey, I told Andrew to do this, you didn't get back to me. Like, if you go through me, I keep a record of that. It works both ways. And I will also say that the core requests being late, we take that very serious. Sometimes core requests are not returned because there is a cost to them. The people argue and say, like, well, narrow it down, do this, do that. But we have an attorney that's on this, the clerk's office. If you want to know more, they could go through it. We take this very serious because this is a serious issue in Colorado. Similar to if you use your private email to conduct official business on, that is susceptible to CORA, which we said a million times. And I know that these are getting heated and everything, but if you have a problem with staff, like, come to me. Like, I will sit down and talk to you. I will get the information you need. I will listen to your concerns. Come to me. This is literally my only job. Not my only job, but my job in the city.
Because you were banned from talking to me.
I was never banned from talking to you.
You're saying that.
I was never banned from talking to you, and from day one.
That's what you told me on.
No.
Okay, that's what you told me on the phone, number one. Number two, the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this, I'm willing to stand up to do a lie detector right now. I'm willing to stand up and have a judge depose, or have an attorney oppose me in front of a judge. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what we need to do because we have a difference of what happens. I know what you told me. Brian, I've known you and your family for 30 years.
I know.
And I was a little disappointed in the way you responded. All I'm saying to you is, this is not fair what you're doing. I am telling you, when I contacted the former city clerk's office, and they told me my ordinance was deleted from the point of their dissemination without me coming after staff.
So who said, let me ask you this, Counselor.
I'm going to tell you who, because you're going to get fired.
But then what, I need to know details of this. I need to know details why it was.
We're not allowed to talk to each other. Remember, you called me and said, you're not going to admit to it, but that's what you did. You called me and said we were banned from talking to you.
I would propose that if those cases, that I would be willing to come and sit with you and Mr. McCain.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for a judge to review this and get it in the hands of a judge.
Okay.
That's the only way. It's on the threat of perjury when people tell the truth.
I think.
We'll move forward. Thank you. Mr. McCain, thank you for your report.
Any other questions on this?
Are you okay? Are you done? Okay. Counsel? No other questions?
I have questions.
Okay. We'll allow like 2 more minutes and we need to move forward because we have 4 executive session items on the agenda still, so.
Me?
Yes, please.
Brian, on the primary jobs, I've read over this definition. Is there anything in here that should say a living wage? Primary jobs?
No, it's not.
Should consist of a living wage?
I think there's some confusion of that because some people equate primary job to wages, basically. This is the definition of a primary job. That's actually very standard if you Google it and look at across the country and other economic development. They're all similar, but that is it. It doesn't have to do with the wage. Now you could, of course you want to pay more, but the definition of a primary job per the ordinance is what is in here.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McCain, for your work on this presentation. Counselors, if you have anything else, I'd encourage you to reach out to Mr. McCain and look for clarification. I am going to, at this point, since we are terribly behind on the agenda, I'm going to skip over the City Council Board and Commission updates. We will cover that next work session, and I now entertain a motion to move into executive session.
I'm not going to support that. I have members of the Airport Advisory Committee here and members who have hangars at the airport who have expressed concerns to me as it relates to what's going on in terms of the contracts and what they're being expected to address right now. And it's on here, City Council Board and Commission update.
Councilor Latino, I'll allow 5 minutes to do your update. Does
My
any-
concern, I'm sorry.
Wait, does anybody else have anything pertinent to update on their committees? Okay. Counselor Latino, I will yield 5 minutes.
Thank you. I don't have this in an organized manner in terms of something to read, but having served on the advisory committee now for the last 2 years, my concerns are as follows. Is my understanding basically that we now have members or tenants that whose contracts have been canceled? Is that correct?
The contracts have
The
been canceled?
contracts are being reconsidered in terms of the tenant fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So what I can tell you, Counselor Latino, is that there's a pending lawsuit between Airport Properties, Inc. and the City of Pueblo that went through an eviction process through a master lease on 2 hangars out there. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, I guess we have members here, and we're talking about the tenant expectations and the contracts that they've had at the airport, and we have some members of the board here as well. If I'm missing it all, maybe we can give them a minute to express themselves.
This isn't a time for testimony, Counselor Latino. This is an update. So we'll give you a couple more minutes for an update, and if we need to hold a separate work session or something in another time, at this time, it's appropriate for an update.
Again, my concerns are as follows. The update being, attending the meetings, we don't have Greg here tonight, nor is Jamie, obviously, and they weren't expected to be here. But I have members that are tenants at the airport, and there's some members of the board that have expressed their concerns to me as it relates to what's going on at the airport at the present time and what's being expected of them with contracts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Am I wrong on that, Ms. Sykes?
So I'm not exactly sure. There's a couple of different things going on at the airport. We have the ongoing litigation. Because of the litigation, there was an eviction process where we evicted the master lease holder, which in fact terminated the sublease agreements. So the city is in the process of handling that. I don't want to get into the litigation right now during the work session. So there's that going on right now. The airport is also putting in place some new rules and regulations and fee schedules. I know that's going on at the airport. So there's a lot of different things going on at the airport, so I'm not exactly sure. And it sounds like I don't know if we want to do a work session on some of the fees and rules and regulations.
I think we need to do a work session on that, because again, there's members here, and there'd be a whole lot more tenants here, et cetera, because I've had all kinds of calls from the tenants and concerns expressed.
It may be appropriate to do a work session on the rules and regulations and fee schedule, but it would not be appropriate to do a work session on the sublease agreements or the litigation.
Well, can we have a minute? We got 2 gentlemen here that could talk.
This is not the work session. It's not a time for testimony. I'm so sorry.
Again, it's a concern, and I think I have the right to say that.
Then can we hold a separate meeting? We'll be glad to maybe conduct a separate meeting. I'm sorry, what do you need to meet?
Order.
Okay.
I can make a recommendation. I can make a recommendation to you, sir.
Point of order.
Point of order.
I can make a recommendation, Madam Chair.
Can I ask Carla a question?
This is not a time, Councilor Dante, I'm sorry, this is not a time for question. This is a time for updates on your committees.
And I was giving an update,
Okay.
but at the same time, I need support with the
Okay.
update, because they're more
Okay. And I hear that.
concise than what I'm able to give at this point in time.
Okay.
I think I have that right to express myself and ask 1 or 2 of them to speak on my behalf.
This is, Councilor Boston, what is your recommendation?
My recommendation to you, Councilman Latino, is if you would like to make a motion at next week's meeting to postpone the item, you can. If the item goes to open discussion, every person here has an opportunity to make their comments known during public comment, and a motion could be made after public comment as well. This is not the time for it. I appreciate your concerns. I've gotten several of your emails, and I will be responding to you. I've gotten your phone calls. I will be responding to you. But there's a process. We need to abide by the process, and now is not the time. This is not the time.
That's point of order.
Yeah,
That's all
point
right,
of
that's
order.
okay. Listen, let's not get to a point.
You will have an opportunity to testify in an open hearing. If I'm not trying to discount your concerns, but this work session is never a time for public comment or testimony. I welcome you to look. I'll be happy to give you my information. I will be willing to meet with you or have a conversation with you before we even vote on this on Monday. So please reach out, and we'll be glad to hear your concerns.
But I have an opinion as well, and it was my time to talk.
Okay, it's time for comments, for
And
an
that's my
update.
comment. I guess as a comment, I guess we have to have legal expert talk to me and say, it is or it isn't possible for me to relinquish my time and pass it to somebody else.
Not in the work
That's gonna
session,
speak about
Councilor
the same
Latino.
thing.
The work session chair is in charge of the work session. There's nothing we can do about that.
Gentlemen, I would ask you to come next week. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. That's why Pueblo is where Pueblo is, folks.
Thank you. I would now move forward with council's agenda. I would entertain a motion to move into executive session.
Madam Chair, I move to go into executive session for the purposes an executive session to determine the positions relative to the matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS Section 24-6402, Parent 4, Parent E, Parent I, and for the following additional details are provided for identification purposes, instructing CIRSA with respect to settlement negotiations of pending claims, and for determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CR Section 24-6402, Parent 4, Parent E, Parent I, and for a conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS 24-6-402, Parent 4, Parent B, and the following additional details are provided for identification purposes: Petco versus City of Pueblo, Pueblo District Court Case Number 26 CV 30238, and Economic Development Agreement with the Leonardo da Vinci Museum. No adoption of any proposed policy, position, resolution, rule, regulation, or formal action shall occur in this executive session and is not open to the public.
Madam Chair, I recommend waiting to vote. We have 2 council members who are not present, and according to the charter, they must be present for all votes.
Will the council members please return back to the dais, please? Thank you, Harley.
Sure.
Do we need all 7 folks here?
Well, the charter states that if a member doesn't vote, his seat is automatically vacated, so I would recommend we get Mr. Latino back to vote.
Thank you.
Now you can do it.
So we have a second from President Aliff to move into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Council will now move into executive session.
Thank you.